All right. And we are live. The last word with Lord Cognito and Ebontis. Fresh at the Campfire Friday. Seems like we got a special guest. What's going on, E?
Yeah, it's been Guardian Games. We had to bring one of the future to be victors in here. So I'm gonna let you introduce our guest though. But yeah, if you guys are a fan of any people in the Destiny community, you guys should know this man. If you don't, we're gonna introduce you to him right now.
Exactly. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 102. Man, 102.
That's a lot of podcasts.
That's a lot of episodes. It's another glorious Friday. We're back in front of the campfire for some more looter shooter discussion. I'm extremely excited about our special guest, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord who truly exemplifies chasing the dream through his undying passion and love of the Destiny franchise. Whether it be his amazing multi-platform streams, detailed how-to videos, or outstanding raid Sherpas, all done in the spirit of positivity and Guardian inclusiveness. Introducing the software developer, plus creator and host of the cbgray YouTube and Twitch channels. The Lord who correctly recognizes Vault of Glass as one of the top raids, and the leader of the grilled cheese community. Live from VA, and kind enough to make his debut at the campfire of The Last Word, my man, Lord cbgray. How you doing, sir?
Wow, that was quite the intro. I don't even know what I can say after something like that.
Well, the mic's on you. Go.
Man.
The goat is here. We got the goat. We got to give it a nice intro to the campfire.
That is one of the, I think, the most, hype intros I've ever heard ever. But yep, my name's cbgray. You can call me Christian. You can call me CB. You can call me The Potato, because I do a whole lot of potatoing. So I don't deserve that intro that I just got. You can call me Lord Potato.
Lord Potato.
I am very, very grateful to be here. I want to, before we get any further in the podcast, give a huge shout out to Ebontis, give a huge shout out to Lord Cognito. These guys kill it, and they're amazing, and I'm just very, very honored to be able to, sit down and talk about some Destiny, man. That's what it's all about, being around good people and just having fun. So absolutely. I'm grateful. Hope we have a lot of fun today. I feel like everything I could have said about myself, Cognito just got. so
you're like, yeah, you don't need to do an intro because we got you.
Yeah, you guys got me,
man. The grilled cheese community in there. So we had to give it up, man.
He said, from this hospital, went to this elementary school, went to this middle school.
By the way, we got a social security number. Here's his phone number. This man is single. Let's get him a date. No,
he said, here's his credit card. Yo, you still...
Let me make sure to go cancel that real quick.
We got to give it up to you, man.
But yeah, very, very happy to be here, and I'm excited to get into it. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Cool. Pleasure to have you, man. So definitely want to get started. Usually we ask a couple of questions about our guests and stuff like that. So for you, man, you've been doing this a long time, and just to see your journey and stuff. So what really got you infatuated with this crazy franchise that all of us love, man? What tell us about that journey, man?
Oh man. So with Destiny, it kind of dates back to before Destiny. So before Destiny, I had an Xbox when I was really young. And so I did play some Halo with some of my friends. We'd sometimes, I remember, one of my best friends, we would stay up all night playing Halo together. Oh, yeah. So classic. I knew about Bungie already. So when I heard that Bungie was making a new game around E3 time, when it first, was starting to get some traction and they were starting to talk about it, that's when Destiny was really on my radar. And then seeing that one trailer they had with when it looked like astronauts on space, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
That really raised my curiosity. And then after seeing the OG alpha and beta, I was already, by that point I was like, all right, this is my game. I gotta have it. And so I ended up, you remember the white PS4 that was bundled with the with Destiny? Yeah. So that so actually I still got the old control. This thing has been through honestly. It's been through everything. The analog stick is pulled off. This thing's been through war with me. But so we bought the OG PS4 with Destiny when it came out, and man, the rest was really history. It was, and then the biggest thing that kind of sold it for me once we got going too was the multiplayer, because that was on a different level. I feel like back in, was that 2014?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, how crazy is
it? It's been a minute, right?
2014, I know. So six plus years ago. That multiplayer experience was something that, even though I had played other multiplayer games, I had never been a part of anything like that. And that's really what made me fall in love, and is why 6 years later we're still playing. Like, you know, like that's really what started me though. But it was knowing a little bit about Bungie before, knowing what they were about, and seeing the trailers leading up to it, then testing it. And then my brother had it too. My one of my best friends had it, and next thing you know, I was addicted. I was playing all the time. Yeah, so that was really what kicked it off for me.
Yeah, same here, man. Now, the question I also want to ask, and follow up to that, because obviously, you know, like me and E were telling you before we started, that we kind of started, we were Flashpoint before we were the last word, and then like it was kind of not the greatest time in Destiny. It was like right around Curse of Osiris.
Okay, I'm very familiar. You know, I'm very familiar with it. Two tokens in the blue time.
Two tokens in the blue. It was dark times out here, CB.
But we should have called the podcast, apparently.
I know, right? We should have called it too.
That would have been a good name.
So my question to you is like, what made you stick? And shout out to the Caps Club. What made you stick with it, even during the tough times? Because it was some hard times, man. CB, we went through some peaks and valleys with Destiny.
I agree. Once again, honestly, the people. You know, it was honestly the people, because it really just wasn't Curse of Osiris time. I mean, people forget, like, there was a huge dry spell too around PoE time.
Yes.
Before Taken King. That was the dry spell before the dry spell, to be honest. Because I mean, and I just feel like there just came a point in time where, you know, when you have your group of friends, it's just, I mean, that's really what kind of, especially for me too, because sometimes people ask even more in the future. It's like, well, how do you know, not get bored playing the same thing the same day every single time, doing the same activities? And I always say it's more the experience with the people, with just the game as kind of the platform, but not really. It's not really. That's not really all there is to it. There's a little more magic involved with it, and that's really what's always like kind of kept me going through those times, especially. And honestly, is why one of the reasons why I wanted to get more into creation as well, in terms of content, was to be able to have more of, like, you know, a community of, like, that just felt like a family. You know, we're all just playing the game we love, because that's really what's always kind of kept me through it. Like, because that was the biggest thing around. I remember still, like, it was like yesterday, like after beating that Skolas 35, it's like, all right, well, but after we beat that, and it's still like June, and we don't have Taken King till September, and we don't even know what Taken King is yet, so we don't even know that we have a slam dunk waiting to happen. So no one knew that we had something. No one knew.
It was murky. You're right. It was very murky.
Yeah. So it was really kind of bleak back then too. And, like, you know, everybody was very, like, it was the first time we'd never raid. So it was also a different time where it's like, well, this is the first time we don't have a raid. So people were really kind of uneasy.
That was very controversial at that time.
So it was, so that was pretty controversial. So that was really what kept me going, was, you know, all the friends that I had, and kind of, you know, making those memories together. And so that's really what I've leaned on always.
No doubt. No doubt.
Hard to argue with that one. No, you're good.
Another question before I pass it to you. The other thing is, one thing I got to give you a lot of credit. Not only do you multi-platform stream, which is awesome, bringing all your different communities together, but the thing I also like is that raid Sherpering, man. Like, that's not easy.
No,
that's not easy, and that is a gift and a labor of love, I consider. You know what I'm saying? To be able to bring someone in who maybe has no experience with a raid. And in my opinion, you know, raids are that's the premier content. That's what got me to kind of stick around and say, wow, this game has tremendous potential. So, like, just as far as, like, how did that get started, as far as, like, helping people out during that? Because I think that's really cool what you do.
Well, it dates back to, like, really back to a time where I feel like I was in kind of the reverse situation. Like, around Taken King time, I didn't really have a lot of people to do orcs with. I remember that's kind of when I didn't have a lot of people to do raids with myself, or any other activities at that, for a while. And so I kind of just wanted to have a place where I could eliminate the struggle that I had back then for other people. And I really can't take all the credit for that raid help anyways. There's so many, like, you know, other people in our community too that really all come together and love raids too, and also want to, as a community, come and bring new kind of guardians their experience, because it is tough. I mean, there's no one person that can bring 5 people through a raid. And so it's really cool that, like, seeing everybody kind of come together and try to bring new experiences to guardians that haven't got a chance to play the raids, because I have people that come into every stream and are like, I've never done a raid in Destiny 1 or Destiny 2, and that's 6 years. So but it doesn't mean people don't want to. It's just kind of that barrier to entry. So I am happy that whether it's raids or exotic quest weapons, so take like Whisper or Outbreak or whatever the case may be. I just really like my whole thing when getting into content creating was trying to eliminate those blockers to entry that I kind of felt at certain parts of my own kind of gaming experience back in Destiny 1 especially. So that's what really made me want to do it. And then when you hear somebody scream at the top of their lungs when they get 1K, it's all worth it. Then it's all worth it. So
that's all you need.
So yeah.
Yeah,
So that and when you hear somebody's reaction or see somebody that gets outbreak or whatever the case may be, and just seeing how happy and just the reaction is really what I mean. That's kind of you can't put a value on.
You can't put a value on that, bro.
And that dates back to Gallahorn, so everybody knows how that. You know how that feels. So
I know, bro. You never forget it. You never forget where you are, what you doing when it first dropped, and the whole bit. Man. Yeah. What you got for me? He's a cool dude, man. Cool dude, CB.
Yeah,
man. After all that stuff, I don't even know where to start, dude. You guys hit off some awesome, just like loving the community and raid Sherpas. I mean, it's just
let's bounce it back. What got you guys into Destiny? I'd love to hear.
We get interviewed, though. We on the campfire.
We have to hold on, and be like, all right, passing the mic right back to you. Mine's probably very similar to yours as well. Kind of got me into my Nightfall solos and stuff like that. I played Vault of Glass time, Taking King. I had some friends that stuck with it. Like, I had a friend who had a couple friends that gamed and stuff like that. And they stuck for a little while, but they started slowly trickling off and you run out of friends to play with. So I was like, all right, I still want to do Nightfalls, kind of a cool challenge to do by myself. And I was like, all right, if I can do this, I want to see if I can help other people do it. So like going through and trying to actually do these things, and especially Nightfall solos in D1.
And those were tough because that was back when it booted you to orbit.
Oh yeah,
so impressive on you.
Like I can't, and to do live commentary on top of that, I can't tell you how many times I said the same thing to go through and do that. But I was like, after doing those, like Shield Brothers was always my example. I got to the point where I was like, I know this guy needs like 185,000 damage on the first set. Then I send him out of the room. These guys come over here, shoot a rocket over here, turn. I got the guys coming up like. Get to the point where I can let everybody know what's coming enough. Even people in the comments would say, thank you. Even my fire team of 3, I sent this to them. So at least we know what's coming. And it's like, if I can really like know the nuances of the strike and know what's coming and stuff like that, it was always really, really helpful. And same thing. It's like, I always wanted to try and be a guide for people who think they might not be able to do it themselves. And then when I see the comments later, like, man, I never thought I could do this, but thank you. Actually, like I finished it today. Doesn't matter if it's 6 months later on the video. I'm like, that's freaking awesome. So that's what got me in.
I agree.
Same thing. It's like just trying to help. Hot Rod, I'm on PC.
Yeah, he's PC master.
and Bonus has made some very, very helpful videos on a whole lot of things too.
Yeah, he's so good. That's one thing I commend him. It's just he's very welcoming to someone who is completely new, and he doesn't assume like a lot of people assume like they've been there before and they know everything. He talks to his audience in a cool way. For me, it's different. I mean, kind of similar to you in a sense, CB, that I'm a big Bungie guy. Halo was huge for me back from Halo 1 with, creating mock LAN parties for TV, Cat 5 cable. And, we were like addicted to this game. This is before Xbox Live, so I'm sure I'm an age here. But at the end of the day, like, I love that company. So just like you, when I heard they're announcing a new franchise, and I'm like, okay, Destiny, what's this? I had that alpha.
Yeah,
and,
yep.
I remember not only was the skyboxes, it was the music, just that boot up, and you heard Marty's theme, and
they have one of the best soundtracks out of any franchise.
Yes,
to be honest.
by far. They don't win any music awards. Well, that's another stuff. We ain't gonna get into it. But this is back to my history. But at the end of the day, I was just like, man, this thing captivated me. Now I must admit, shout out to Forte in the building. Salute, brother. Thanks. So, the thing that captivated me was, okay, the game was fun, but in the beginning, I'll be honest, once I hit that max level and you beat the campaign, I kind of cooled off because I didn't understand the end game, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was.
Light was confusing back then.
Light was confusing.
It was confusing.
So I was kind of like, all right, it was cool, but I thought it would be more, and I cooled off. Now, shout out to Sinister, who's in the chat, you know what I'm saying? He's the one that said, bro, you've got to raid. We got to get you to level 30. It was a grind back then, right?
Yeah.
So I finally got there, and I'll never forget. It was the Vault of Glass.
Changed the game. It changed
my life.
Changed
because,
the game.
For console, we didn't have anything like raid. So it's a first-person shooter raid, this whole mysteriousness, building the spire and going deeper and I'm like, yo, this is, minus my terrible warlock jumps. during the jumping puzzle. but
and the cool thing was too is when you're in patrol, when like before I ever jumped in the raid, like originally I saw other people doing it, and I was like, "What are they doing? What are they building?" I was like, "Can I go?" And they didn't let me go. Yes. And so that was like, I got to figure out what this is,
bro. That right there changed my life, and then from then I'm like, this game is special, and I said more people need to experience it. So it ended up becoming, I would say a hater of Destiny, but I ended up becoming the defender of Destiny. Everybody would come in like, why are you still playing that game? Why are you still? And I'm just like, man, I love it, man. And like you said, it's the community, your friends, you get on, and that's it. So that's kind of what did it for me, man. Tremendous.
No, I agree. It sounds like in some qualities of that multiplayer again that we were talking about. Because that raid experience was different than anything else that I'd ever been a part of.
Ever been a part of. Yes.
Ever.
Completely agree.
Still to this day, to be honest.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I caught that raid ranking video.
The one with sweat.
Yeah. Okay. Caught that, man. So I saw some things in there that are really some things that actually I was like, you know what? I agree. There's some things I was like, okay. So break it down. That S tier. I want you to break down that S tier of the top raids for CB. For the people that don't.
Oh man, wait, all right, so now let's also like I guess clarify, are we talking about in general or are we talking about just in this current game?
No, we're going to talk about in general. We're going to talk about all the raids.
See, it's so tough when I give this answer sometimes. I feel like the first one that I always put up is the first one, but then, like, because Vault of Glass for me is like always going to be the best experience I've ever had in a game.
And you were worried about the Titans in here.
Say it so Game & Forte can hear you.
Vault of Glass is the best gaming experience I've probably ever had in a video game. Whoa! It just is what it is. And
is it nostalgia,
I'll always
I gotta cut you 1 second.
Whether people agree or not, like I'll always have it in the S. More so even just because of like, you can say there's been better bosses, you can say there's been bigger raids, you can say there's been more encounters, but just the mystery, the fact that they got it right on the first time, the loot, the breakdown of loot on hard and normal. So there was actually incentive to do hard, like getting Fatebringer, do it 10 years in a row until you get it finally. Everybody I know who was grinding Fatebringer understands.
Yes.
Like the amount of lore that was attached to it with Praedyth and Kabir and like all of that enriched loot, lore and just the whole experience was just on a different level. And part of it's like one of those things where it's like, all right, well, yeah, now obviously Bungie's been making more raids, but back then when they did it in 2014, it was just almost like a had to be there type thing. Like so no matter what, I always defend that raid, no matter what.
Now, I want to shout out a couple people in the chat because they have been making me laugh. Shout out to Leon. He said, Vogue saved Destiny, a huge game changer. Now, the question I got before we get into the other raid, because obviously I'm a Vogue fanboy, so I gotta bloviate. So my question is,
I'm not even worried. I'm just go. Yeah.
I know. My question to him though is, what do you say to the people like Forte and other people who say, we're just looking at it through rose-colored glasses? It's really not that good a raid. What do you say to those people?
I mean, it's just one of those things where like the best comparison I could give is we all live in houses with internet, right? Yes. Like, and so internet now is very like a normal thing in everybody's house, right? But back when the internet first came about, like everybody realizes how much the internet changed the world. And if you say the internet didn't change the world, then now internet's normal now, right? We all got in our house. Yeah, it's completely normal now. And now that we have 10 raids, I understand people saying the thing about Vault, what they say, but you can't say that internet didn't change everything about this world.
Talk, CB.
And Vault of Glass will be that internet.
Whoa, my man CB with the software development breakdown.
That's the best way I could put it. And if you don't understand, and like I feel like that's hopefully clear as anything I could compare. Woo! To be honest.
And on the first day there was light. My man CB Gray. Now, let me stop being biased. Now, all jokes aside.
But that would be my opinion. That'd be the best comparison that I can make. Like I get that now. It's like internet's everybody's house. Now there's so in the equivalent to that be now I understand there's been raids with more encounters. I understand that Bungie's been able to experiment more. I understand that there's more that Bungie can do, and now we're gonna even start moving to stronger. Like when we have next gen consoles, there'll be more ability to do new things. We got to remember that we were in the realm of PS3. And Xbox. So there was like from a technical standpoint, there was also limitations that they had to adhere to.
Yes.
So like it's just what they were able to do back then. Like even if like now wouldn't take as much effort, back then was I mean it was they did a thing there. They did a thing.
Fair enough. Not fair enough, brother.
They did
so
a thing.
we got Vault. So give me some more of your other top tier.
Two and three.
King's Fall. I feel like King's Fall is another one that I feel like changed a whole lot of everything. Again, I feel like once again King's Fall took things to another notch as well. I know people also have some reservations about certain parts of King's Fall. The one part that I always am at least like able to be like I feel like aware of and cognizant of is I feel like the last encounter, like making people go the 4 rounds, I know wasn't always people's favorite.
Yeah.
But just in general, from an overall raid experience, like from the ships and the amount of detail in the ships, and everybody remembers falling off the ships 100,000 times, but getting mastering the ships to totems to then having War Priest to then Golgoroth, which before it was learned that you could do one bubble was probably one of the best encounters ever. Once again, I mean, back and forth. Anybody who did the Golgoroth normal
Hard mode Golgoroth is actually a really good encounter.
Yeah, that too. Jump in the bridge. Everybody remembers jump over that bridge and rotate around. But so anybody who so I feel like Golgoroth, the way it was intended to be, was still one of probably the best encounters that I feel like I've been a part of. And then Sisters kind of teaching what kind of went on in Orcs, and then once again all the extra secrets that were in the King's Fall raid, the basketball room, all the different stuff that was within King's Fall. Once again, I have that one up for another, just the overall experience again, the secret chest that you could unlock if you jumped on the side and went up the ramp, like all the different stuff, the touch of malice that was associated with it, the loot, and then having the loot split between the hard and normal. Once again, there was once again, there's a lot of things that Bungie got right with King's Fall as well, even if the last encounter didn't make you do it 4 times in a row. I still love it. I still have it up there for sure.
No doubt.
That would be another one I'd put up.
Give me one more. Let me just do it a top 3. So give me one more. I know it's tough. It's like picking your children. I understand.
Yeah, it is. The last 2 I have, like, and I don't want to just like not put anything from D2 because then it seems like I'd probably throw like Last Wish in there probably too. I'd probably throw Last Wish under, and then it would be like man, it's so hard. Then probably have Wrath Machine as an honorable mention. But yeah, I'd probably stick Last Wish over from maybe. Oh man, but then the whole Outbreak thing too. It's tough. I'm such a I love so much about what D1 had, but I really did like Last Wish too, and I think every single encounter in Last Wish was really good. I think there was once again a lot of secrets in Last Wish. I think the overall first day experience was one of the best first days.
One of the best.
Probably the best first day since King's Fall's first day.
Yes, I would agree.
So there's a whole lot of good stuff with Last Wish as well, all the way down to the exotic that was attached, the world's first for it, then triggered everything in Dreaming City. There was a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff that went on with a lot of stuff that went on with Last Wish that I think also was like you could say game changing as well. Yeah. So that would probably be my 3.
Nice.
Me personally, list, for those reasons, and I hope I gave some decent reasons for them. But yeah,
you killed it. Yeah, strong. And I always tell people, look, I know I'm a Vault fanboy, but I'm with you, man. Like as far as Last Wish, everything you said, as far as King's Fall, to me, I can't get mad at anyone if they have those as their S tier in any order. Yeah, because for each reason that you gave, I can understand it. For sure. What else you got, E?
Oh, no.
Legendary. We got the GOAT in here, man. We got the GOAT, CB.
I wanted to ask you, CB, for like any of your videos and stuff that you made, or any that are like have kind of a special place for you. Did something really cool that you didn't expect, or just any certain videos, because I've got a couple, of course, that have been like, hey, this was really cool, this one got some cool reactions. Any standout videos that you've made that you're either really proud of, either did really well, helped a lot of people, stuff like that?
Some like standouts in terms of videos. There was like there's a few, like, so there was one era of videos that I used to make about 2 years ago. It's funny, around the Warmind time, which was when I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember when the Black Spindle's catalyst was, or at the time people thought it was Black Spindle's catalyst, it ended up being Whisper the Worm's catalyst.
Yes.
Yeah, but this before we all knew it was Whisper the Worm. So we actually, so I'm saying Black Spindle for a reason, because we didn't know it was Whisper yet. But so when Black Spindle's we thought his catalyst was in the in the database from LightGG, obviously. And so those I remember like that whole build up in Warmind, which ended up bearing fruit to Whisper of the Worm, was a really cool segment of the channel. We're making videos kind of like, it was almost like, where is this weapon, and this weapon actually ended up existing. Was one time that was really cool. Another time coming off of the Niobe Labs stream that we ended up having, which it's probably still one of my favorite experiences, even though it was it took a couple days for things to get unlocked. But after that too, the whole process of getting together with my fire team that we had and going through the mysterious data pad on the first day too, and then getting that video out too was also a really fun experience. I still remember being with Vet and Gypsy that day. That was a really fun day as well. That was a really cool video to make after that came out. But honestly, I really enjoy just every single video for the reason of just kind of seeing the comments. Like you said, when somebody comments back and says that, this was really helpful with whatever, that's really, like, they're all pretty special. I really just enjoy seeing just the reactions that they've helped people, and then it kind of just makes it all worth it. So I have some that definitely have been some fun ones to make. I also enjoyed the making overall just stream highlights that I felt like kind of just captured the timeline of all the kind of streams that I had done over the years. I thought that was a pretty fun one to watch too. But overall, I really do, my most, I guess, favorite thing about the videos in general is just when you make a video and then you see that somebody said it was helpful with them getting whatever the video title was about. And that's really what makes each one of them special. Like, that's really what does it for me with the videos, is seeing the reactions. It always definitely is fulfilling.
Nice.
What it's about, brother.
Yeah,
man. All about the reaction, giving back, just seeing the effect that you have on people. So cool, man. So cool. Love what you're doing, man. So how we feeling about Destiny? Like, well, what's your take right now? What's the energy for you right now?
So I feel like I have like a very, not interesting opinion, but I just have reservations about getting on the like Destiny's in trouble train, because I really feel like we're in an era that's still affected from the split from Activision. I mean, one thing, and especially like now too, like in terms of trying to get effective changes out quick. One thing that I know that you're in IT, and so I'm also a developer too. And one thing right now is we're all working from home, obviously, as you know, with the pandemic that we have going on right now. And one of the biggest things that I've noticed, at least personally, is we're working on a small scale application, and it's really hard having everybody be in all these different places and us trying to get anything done. And so one thing is I'm trying not to crack down too much on some changes taking longer, because I understand that managing a game the size of Destiny with everybody from home is just not realistic. It's so tough doing it on a small scale. So in terms of the short-term changes, I'm trying to I feel like Destiny, or Bungie in general, I'm trying not to be too hard in terms of the time that we're in right now.
Absolutely.
But then also in terms of losing Activision in general, I feel like that's, in my personal opinion, I feel like that's something we're going to feel the effects of till September. And so I'm okay with what we have now, as long as what I'm hoping is coming in September is going to be the slam dunk that most of the Septembers have been.
Oh,
so it is, is the PvE in the absolute best place that it can be? Maybe not. Is PvP in the best place it can be? Maybe not. But I do think those times are coming, and I think with the more interactive TWABs that we're getting and some of the signs that are starting to show, I really do think that we're okay. And there's been plenty of times in Destiny where we've been in a little bit more.
The droughts have been worse than this ever has been. So
yeah. So we've had way worse than this, and I think Bungie always kind of shines in those type of moments. So I'm not really too worried about it, and I think that obviously things could always be better. Yeah. But sometimes things being better, I don't know if it's realistic, and I just don't know what really I don't know a lot of studios that could lose somebody as big as Activision and just have things go without a hitch.
Exactly.
From a technical standpoint. So
yeah, it's major. So I got a question for you. As we're talking about like September and the fall, by the way, it's C2K Ace says you're the GOAT. He just wants you to know that.
Ace, you're the GOAT, man. You're the GOAT.
But no, this actually kind of ties into something for you. So I've done my speculations. We've talked about this of what's coming with the Light Bright wall, which you may be too young to know. But like we've got the little lights showing up on the wall. We've got these little teaser videos and stuff. So I was getting there, yeah. So I was gonna ask, in spirit of cbgray, the man of the actual tinfoil hat, for one, where the hell did the tinfoil hat come? 2, yes, you have to put it on, and 3, what do you think is coming?
Let's go.
First, you said first was I got to put it on, right? I think I need to make sure I got the.
We go.
The thing is, with all this hair, it has gotten progressively harder and harder to put this hat on.
There we go.
Over the months, it's become harder and harder and harder to put this thing on. But we got it. We got it on. So, all right. First thing, we got it on. So that's first. Second thing,
so
I think
where did it come from?
Where did this come from?
That's also a great question. So one thing that I think the Destiny community does more than any other community is we do a lot of witch hunting and we do a lot of spin foiling and theorizing. We could see one tiny little crack on the wall, and the next thing you know, Raid Secrets is on it. Raids, they're on it. It's this blade of grass was just slightly curved, and now we're theorizing on something. and I love that. That is something I love about this community so much, and I think it's led to so much fun that is sometimes generated over something that doesn't even exist. And it's sometimes some of the most fun moments that I've had in Destiny. And so what happened with the tinfoil hat, like that dates back to, once again, what I was saying originally with Warmind, when originally the first thing that came out was that there's a catalyst in the database that looks very similar to Black Spindle. What in the world is it? Yep. And if this weapon's in the game, why don't we have it? Why don't we have it? And so that led us into the time of the videos that I was telling you about, the theory, and they're kind of called like the theory videos. Where we're kind of trying to figure out where in the world this weapon was in the game. And so the first thing was that tipped everybody off. If you remember, one of my favorite things about Destiny 2 is strike loot also too. So I love like all the way back to Destiny 1, the Grasp of Malix, the Cloak of Taniks, all of the different amazing strike loot that was in the game. And that also held true in D2. One of the things that kept me going in Curse of Osiris and Warmind was some of the strike loot. So DFA, Duty Bound, Braytech Osprey.
I miss those actually now.
As well as I'm still missing one, Silicon Neuroma.
Yeah,
but you still don't have that? Damn.
No, I'm saying I was missing Sang one.
Oh, okay.
It's one of my favorite snipers. Oh no, I ran it until I got it. No, I love it. But but that being said, there was one more strike in the game that didn't drop a weapon. It was the only one, and it was Zol. Zol didn't drop a weapon. It was only a transmit effect. Only a transmit effect. And so
tinfoil spinning.
And so next thing you know, we were looking very, very hard in that strike because it just didn't add up. There was only strike at the time that didn't have a weapon attached to it, or at least like at that point in time, a like cosmetic type drop. So like you could take like Garden World, for example, where the I think that's where the universal wave function was dropping. So like that was a ship though. Like, it wasn't like a transmit effect. It seemed like something was off. It felt like something was off. Yeah. So next thing you know, there is these pyramids, upside down pyramids that were in the Zol strike that we ended up finding like on the stream. And so next thing you know, like me and then my friend Vet and like the rest of the community, we're all just jumping to try to figure out what in the world these pyramids could mean. That's when I became really good friends with Sweat, because Sweat was also wondering what in the world was going on with these pyramids. That's when we became really good friends as well. And so next thing you know, this spawned a whole lot of theories on where the weapon could be until it actually ended up showing up that same season. And that was all that spin foiling or tin foiling turned into like whenever anything is like, whenever we're speculating anything in the game, we're tin foiling. So no matter what the case may be. And so the new biggest thing to tin foil about right now in terms of the game that everybody knows about is the Doritos.
Yep. Oh yeah, Space Doritos.
Exactly.
Let's go.
And so the Doritos in the game obviously are very representative of the darkness. Yes. And so now really everybody's question is, when is it coming? Because it's coming, right? It seems like it's coming.
That's so a good question, brother.
When is it coming? And then what's going to happen when they come? And so that hopefully that answers questions at least on the whole tinfoiling. And now that's held true now with like Niobe Labs, when we were starting to see the symbols before. So in the forges, when you could see the symbols on the ground before you could actually get to Niobe, that held true for you could see the symbols in before the Saint 14 mission. when we were saving him, you could see those symbols that were in the corridors of time before the actual corridors of time. Next thing you know, I'm screenshotting all these images. I'm like, what are these for? And then they ended up being for one of the longest marathons, in probably Destiny. Like, I mean,
seriously,
that was a sleepless week for me. But but that type of stuff is that's some of my favorite stuff in Destiny in general. And so in the secret missions as well. But so that's really what spawned the whole tinfoil thing in terms of what we do. Hopefully that was a good answer for that.
That's freaking amazing. That's what I wanted to hear. It's like I'd seen the hat, wanted to ask about it, chat had to hear about it, even if they knew about it. But yeah, it's like we're in this time to where like the wall this week, the first little Dorito on the wall made it to Neptune. Yeah, made it to Neptune.
It's on Neptune. It is on Neptune. Yes.
So it's like floating by Neptune. Are we going to get a cinematic? And I'm wondering now, is like Guardian Games finishes this week. Tuesday next week is literally the first day on the calendar of the 12th that's not on the calendar for the season.
There's nothing there.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. So it's very, very interesting what's going to happen Tuesday. I completely agree with you. Another thing to definitely, like, once again, if you wanted to continue tinfoiling about would be to go back, look at the Shadowkeep Vidoc or whatever that talked about season 10, 11, and 12 to come. And they mentioned season 11 is going to be unlike any other season ever in Destiny. That's a quote. They said season 11 is going to be unlike any season like Destiny. Now, what does that mean?
Well, did you also see the recent tweet?
Did you see the recent tweet from Lord Luke's man? Did you see it?
You're talking about the one from yesterday or the one from today? If you tweeted something today, I've been
it was yesterday or the day. It was like last day or so. Like 4 words. That's all you had. So you are not prepared.
You are.
Okay. I saw that one.
Yeah,
you guys made me thought I saw something else. Okay,
I was like, some new joint.
It's like, dude, what did I miss? I can't keep up. I've got a job, man.
I was opening up my Twitter. I was like, oh snap! I've been at work all day. Besides, you good. Oh man, but no. Usually I'm usually on top of that. But yeah. But I agree. So we're not prepared for whatever it is. So I'm very, very much curious to see what's happening. Not only towards the end of the season, because I'm hoping that it's gonna kind of facilitate whatever's going to come in season 11. And then I'm interested to see what's coming in season 11. And if ultimately when season 12 comes, is there going to be this gigantic execution of planets?
My man.
Is that coming? And so, it's just one of the most popular things that everybody's kind of, leaning towards because A, we need more game space anyways.
Yeah.
But B, but one of my big things too, and you guys can kind of give me your thoughts on this, but Rasputin, obviously in the bunker, we can see all of the planets lit up all the way to Saturn, right?
Yes.
And then we can see the Doritos way at the edge of the solar system. But for some reason, a couple of those planets aren't lit up. What does that mean? Does that mean they've been blown up already? Why can't we see them?
Why Uranus and Neptune aren't lit up at all? Is that your question?
Why? Yeah, why?
I was
it's all.
Yeah, we don't know. I was like, my guess is because we've never ventured that. We've never ventured that far. Like we went to Saturn or Uranus or Jupiter. We went to Saturn. We've been near most of these places. Europa's not lit up though, which is also strange. So there's a couple that are not, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And so I was wondering if it's just because he can't reach that far or because people are like, oh, he just can't see that far because we haven't been there yet. But I was like, then why can you see the darkness that's at the edge of the edge?
Yeah. So why is the Kuiper Belt listed out there, forever out there?
So it's all very interesting stuff. So there's a lot. And back to what I told you before, this is the most fun part is, all of the buildup. So I'm asking you that question, even though I don't know the answer. So it's more of it's a question that doesn't even have an answer, but it's all interesting stuff. It's all real interesting.
I'm with you, man. Okay,
that's the story of the tinfoil. Now my hair is trying to yeet this thing off.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, you can take it off.
It's gotten harder and harder with the months.
Looked like it was choking you there a little bit.
One thing that I'm excited for is my haircut. Hopefully, in the next few months. I'm so excited.
How short is that thing gonna go? How far is that coming down?
That's a great question, man. If the longer this gets, the more it might just be everything.
You're just like screw it. You and Cognito will be a pair.
Yeah, we're gonna be twins. Cognito, I'm coming for you. I might be able to actually get a headset on my head. They're like, why don't you wear a headset? I was like, do you see my hair?
We respect it, man. We respect it. Listen, man, I love the tinfoil, and that was really cool, man. Again, so many theories, and we're excited too because we know about this game. The thing about a live service game, you're gonna have those peaks and those valleys.
Agreed.
And, the cool thing is every September. You know what I'm saying? They always knock it out the park. So anytime anyone is like questioning that, I always find it funny because I'm like, oh, you're leaving? We'll see you in
same
September.
cycle. It's the same cycle.
It's cyclical. And if you've been around the block like we have, you know how it is. You know what I'm saying? And you made a great point about resources, about the pandemic right now. You know, and us, like I said, from the tech background, you know how it is, how difficult it is to do things remotely. So like you said, we're in a holding pattern. Me and E are in the same page as you. We're not going super crazy. We understand the climate, right?
Yeah.
But we also know that you know, the majority of the resources will be heading towards this new content and whatever it be, Matter and all these other stuff that they got doing. So we're pretty excited, man. And we know, like I said, it's like E, you put it perfect. Like, you know, on the 12th, like, Guardian Games, you know, so like, what's gonna happen?
It literally is all we know about the 12th. Literally 4 full weeks. All we have is and more. That's it. That's all we have. And they have told us nothing about it. We've got pyramid ships coming in. We have an Almighty, which has been like the start of the season and then left hanging out there. We're shooting these satellites up there to take care of it. So at some point we've got to shoot that thing. There's rumors, if you guys haven't heard of, you know, things possibly crashing down. I'm not going to say too much, but there may be a little damage and destruction in places. So we've got all this, like, we started with the Almighty. Now the pyramids have basically made the Almighty look like a chump. As long as the Almighty is taken care of, we still have much bigger fish to fry.
Oh yeah.
And then, but again, it's like,
appearances.
Well, yeah, but you picture the scale too. We'll talk about the TWAB in a little while. It's like, hey, we're not making any major changes for season 11, but man, season 12, year 4, like, holy crap. Like, there is a potential for so much to be coming, changing, drastic things potentially with, you know, as you guys have said, planets potentially not being in the mix anymore. And I've wondered, I talked about this with my brother too, is like, so if one of the planets goes away, and Titan seems to be a pretty popular candidate, if Titan goes, it's only got one strike on it and stuff, but it's like some of just the vanilla story still goes through that planet. Like, are they going to rewrite the story? Is that just going to be a story of a different era? Is the Sloan whole campaign not going to be there with Zaval? Like, there's certain things that they've made that content.
There's a lot of questions. Yep. And I mean, that goes all the way down to like, even with just Titan, like that, even the Thorn strike is dependent on that. So like, there's going to be rework if there are things exploded. Cause people also say like, well, what about IO? But then it's like, all right, well, what happens to Whisper? Yeah. Like, so there's so many, and I mean, that's going to be a part of my heart ripped out if that happens. But either way, it's just, but it's one of those things that they have to be asking themselves those questions. So I'm sure they're going to be reworking either, I guess, how the New Light story works, or I don't know if you get rid of resources, like in general, like if you don't have the planets in the game, are you still able to like access planets just in small scale in terms of like a quick story mission?
A strike with like a blurred background that's not there. Like, I don't know.
So I don't really know how that works from, I guess, a technical standpoint. So I guess that's one thing that I'm hoping they're asking themselves, because it's something that if not done correctly, I feel like it could receive backlash. Right. It's like, I can't get this anymore. I can't run this anymore. Like, or it's just not available. Like, you know, so they got to find out how to accommodate that.
Yeah, I think that. Okay, I'll let you.
No, you're good.
No, I was just saying that I think that at least short-term history has shown that. Look at the Izanagi as an example, right? With the way Forges have now been reworked as far as that whole quest line, because now everything, the Forges are now kind of like on a rotator, right, on the planet. So. I think that if it comes down to it, whether it be Titan or whatever, they will still give access to these quest logs. I cannot see a situation where Bungie says, you know what? Hey, man, you know, if you had Thorn, you know what I'm saying, you ain't going to be able to get it no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever, anything that's associated with passing through Titan or a strike related, that they will probably make accessible another way. So that's my initial theory, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but, I agree.
I think it could be done. I think it could be
done.
Yeah,
I mean, and they've already done a lot of tweaking of quests that a lot of times people don't even realize. I mean, even take, like, speaking of the Forge weapons, like you said, like, Jotun and Lemon Arc aren't random anymore. You know, those are now 10 frames, which is kind of hefty, of the powerful ones, too. So 5 weeks. But so, yeah, they've already done some tweaking in the past. So it's not anything that it'd be outlandish for us to say that they could just, change the kind of the course of how it goes. But it'll all be stuff that they need to ask those questions, because those weapons still need to definitely be accessible, especially the exotics, because I believe those are, as of now, not going to be retired. I think that's what Luke said, right?
Yep.
Like you said, exotics aren't retired.
Yes, E.
So definitely exotics are one that they're going to have to ask the questions and try to figure out what's the best way to handle them. Hopefully Bungie handles it the right way.
Yeah,
I'm sure they will.
Everything is so tied together at this point. we've had this back and forth about sunsetting and exotics, and this whole thing has been a thing. But I mean, you bring up a great point of like how do you pick and choose? Like, if this planet goes, is this just now a random drop somewhere else and the quest is just no longer? If you blow up Io, does Whisper of the Worm just become a random loot drop for the people who don't have it if you haven't seen it anymore? It's like, I mean, Whisper is one of my biggest videos I've ever done, so it's like it's got a special place for me too. And that's one of those when you're just like, how?
I believe that's how I first found you. Also,
wait, can you repeat that? This is a point of contention.
Amazing video. That was an amazing video.
There's been a big, the last one, we go at it.
Amazing video.
Big point of contention because this man wanted exotics also to be retired, and I struggled with that.
I bet they would love Telesto to get retired right now. Are you freaking kidding me?
No, keep that energy. Don't be cute because now CV's here. Keep that energy you had towards, I wouldn't mind if Zero had to go away. And I was like, what? I was like, there's memories.
That's really tough for me too, because those secret missions are probably some of my favorite. Like I love helping people with those. I'd be very sad to see those go. If they go, we'll just, but like I definitely would be like.
No, it's like, and I'm with you on, trust me, the secret missions have all been so freaking amazing. Like talking to Nine Hydras about those at Guardian Con when he's part of the one, like the artistry that made them. Shattered Throne at some point is another one when I wonder, it's like if Shattered Throne, when the Dreaming City, if it ever gets fixed, if that story thread is done, technically Shattered Throne shouldn't even be there because that whole thing is the end of the 3-week cycle. So there are some major pieces to these exotics at a point. And we look, honestly, when we look at the TWAB, which I was going to wait to get into a little bit, but when you look and they say like year 4, year 5, year 6, in this discussion, we all potentially talk about like, hey, when is D3 coming? The way you read between the lines on the TWAB this week makes you think D3 is getting farther and farther away, to be honest with you. So that's when it's like, so my question to him was basically just like, if D2, somehow they push D2 into next gen and it's still going, is Whisper of the Worm, if you have a year 6 or 7 raid, should you be able to take Whisper of the Worm into it and be able to infuse it into it? That was the question. I try and ask this occasionally.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
He's like, God, we're in here again. Do you think you should be able to infuse Whisper through like year 6 and just keep taking it forward?
Man.
Or
But I mean, we've never had a game yet where we've had 6 years. I feel like we start having to ask ourselves some tough questions, and I even love Whisper. I'd at least have to start contemplating it because I definitely don't like. I do want there to be like incentive to go get some of these new things in the game. Like, I mean, I can take for example. I feel like some of the let's say bunker weapons or even before that. Let's take the weapons from the back with the Fractaline weapons before the weapons we were getting before. I feel like we weren't using them because we had so many like other weapons that are just like, we're always gonna have Recluse, we're always gonna have we're always gonna have Mountaintop, we're always gonna have this and that and the third. So by year 6, I mean, if we're having this problem, or kind of having this problem now, I at least would have to admit that it would have to be a discussion, or we need to like weigh different possibilities for just trying to figure out how to make other weapons viable. And that's a tough that sentence alone is not easy.
Absolutely.
Like just you can't just snap and make things viable like without breaking things. Sometimes you don't want to break anything because when we break things and we have to disable things and then it's just a whole hassle. So it's tough. If the game goes into year 6, to Abanus's point, I would at least have to discuss it. I feel like, in my opinion, it would have to be discussed. That's tough. We've never had a situation where we've had the game go that long.
Absolutely. And you're making fantastic points.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is everything seemed to that you were mentioning, and a lot of what you were mentioning also involved legendary weapons, which we came in the middle. Me and E came in the middle there. It was a hard fight. But we came in the middle. I said, you know what? We got to discuss that. I'm cool with the retirement of these earlier weapons because, again, redundancy, loot pool gets, inflated. I get that. But when it came to the exotics, especially the ones that involved quest lines, like 0 Hour, like Whisper of the Worm, that's where I struggle because it was more of respecting player engagement to get those weapons.
Agreed, because then you don't want to do those activities anymore.
Right, and exotics was such a small part of the loot pool that I'm like, it's not really gonna kill the game if those still hung around. I'm all about weapon retirement for legendaries. You know what I'm saying? And moving that forward. So that was just our little beef. So
let's take it back though then, because we've dealt with that before though. All of us as D1 players. So how did you feel when we lost Gallahorn and Icebreaker and all those weapons? Because we lost those after what? It was a year and a half. 3 years after what you call it.
Yeah, but you brought Gallahorn back, then you lost it.
Then we brought Gallahorn back.
I'm talking about like the initial reaction, just like kind of putting yourself in before it was Rise of Iron. Obviously, we got Rise of Iron and we got Black Gallahorn back, but like we didn't immediately, so we had those feelings. Yeah, so I was wondering how you guys felt when that happened.
I think for me at the time with Gallahorn specifically as a random drop, it didn't affect. I think the difference I feel with D1 and D2 is that D2 seems to have a lot of more lore and exotic quest oriented acquisition, right? I feel D2 had more of that, whereas D1, I think a lot of it came from random drops. And I think I just struggle. My issue is I struggle when you create these lore quests and all these steps to get something. And now you're saying, okay, after a certain amount of time now, you can't, not that you can't use it. Yes, it will exist. Yeah. But for pinnacle activity, you won't be able to use it. That's my struggle.
Maybe they could even break down another class of exotics that are tied to actual like activity type based exotics, and maybe those could stay. Maybe you can make an argument for those then. So raid one. So if you spent 10 years to get, if it took like a long time for it finally to get like a 1K to drop. Let's say that RNG just did not bless you. It took you 500 times to get 1K, and it finally dropped. Let people use that 1K because they were. It's like versus, I guess, if like let's say a Sunshot dropped out of an engram, then maybe you retire that one. Okay. So maybe if you start
like kind of curated exotic retirement type thing almost at that point.
Almost, yeah. Like we almost have to like break down a subsection of exotics. I'd be flexible to the conversation. We could figure it out. We can figure it out, Cognito. We can work it out.
There we go. Shout out WD. Your defense squad is coming. WD Press. He said, do you use Outbreaker in trials or God? You know what's funny? I still use Outbreaker. I'm actually running a 0 hour. During this time, it's bugged with all the extra damage.
It's not bugged anymore.
It's not bugged anymore.
It's not? It felt good to me.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to lie. I jumped back in and, man, it was... I definitely have been practicing again on the side because it felt even harder.
They probably fixed it and made it even harder. I need to go back down and remake my video from 2 years ago.
I enjoyed it being broken for the time that it was, because it was interesting they didn't say anything, so I almost was wondering if it was like not a bug, but they did go and fix it. They fixed it.
Yep. It was just like one of those like quiet patch notes and be like, oh yeah, that's in there.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it, man. So we got a lot to talk about. We got a big TWAB going. What else we got going on, E?
So it's actually not the biggest TWAB, but we got some big news. So we all knew last week that we talked about trials and talked about, we've had these different topics that they've been discussing, talked about bounties and seasons last week. We've had some discussion about certain things, and everybody was on the edge of their seat this season or this week because of, we knew Eververse and rewards was kind of something almost didn't expect. But Eververse is the big topic and how it ties into rewards. And before we actually get into this, just cbgray, what are your thoughts? Because we've had our vent on it. Just the status currently of it before we go into what's going to change. Where do you think Eververse sits now? Good, bad, a little too intrusive. It's fine where it is.
I've always thought that it's like, it's another tough one. It's always tough because personally, I don't spend any money in Eververse, and it's not my favorite because I feel like sometimes I'll see pieces of loot and I'll be like, that really should have been like here or there. It's like, for an example, like that Harpy Ghost in that red Hive ship and the red Hive Sparrow. I would have loved if that Ghost was Festering Core strike specific loot, and I would have loved if that ship or that Sparrow was the strike specific loot for Hashladum, who's Crota's daughter. She deserved a strike piece of loot. Yeah. But So that's the one side, obviously, because like that I feel very strongly about some of the pieces of gear, and like I definitely would love to see some of the other activities get some love with some of the stuff that I see in Eververse that sometimes matches exactly the theme that's going on in said activity. But then on the flip side too, I do realize that once again they've lost a gigantic asset, and they wouldn't be. Bungie doesn't. Nobody goes to bed like enjoying getting negative feedback. And they don't enjoy getting negative feedback. If they wouldn't be doing what they're doing if it wasn't helping to continue to bring us what we're getting. In my opinion, nobody enjoys negative feedback. Nobody. Like, it's just not human nature. So, I mean, I do think that's one of those things that it is, like, if they're doing it in the way that they're doing it, it's because it's necessary to keep the ships going right now. And so, and clearly, I mean, as they're getting traction and starting to get their legs back, it seems like, all right, now they're scaling it back some, which, I mean, because now, like, I mean, we didn't mention it yet, but obviously they're starting to not attach some of those items, like ships, ghosts, some of those aren't going to be in Eververse anymore. So I'm hoping that as they're getting their footing back, I'm hoping that some of these like events where, you know, like sometimes we have these like events like a Festival of the Lost or a Dawning, and like everything's behind, you know, the paywall or whatever. And so, like, I'm hoping that as we continue to move forward, like, the best is yet to come. I mean, I liked what I heard. And so I definitely, I'm not the biggest fan of Eververse, but I understand that they're, like, somehow bills need to be paid in order for people to work on the game.
So, like, I mean, during the transition of the lack of, you know, Activision and basically the big purse behind them, they're like, all right, so for this year, people are probably going to be pissed off about it. We're going to lean a little heavier into the Eververse, see if we can make a little extra money. And then we're going to try and pull it back when people really start to get annoyed by it. And that seems, honestly, I mean, in a logical business sense, it makes sense. They need to have, let's see if we can make some money as many places as we can. This is probably going to be a bit intrusive, but if we can make a little more here, it's going to help us on the back end so we can kind of get settled in and know what to expect for year 4, fall expansion, and all that stuff. So they go into, and that's the first thing you basically talked about, is Vanity and Accessories. So couple big pieces. I'm just going to kind of hit each topic and we can basically talk about it.
Yeah. First
one, just literally straight out of the gate that people have probably been asking for years, says we will be adding a transmogrification feature to Destiny 2. Woo! This will allow players to turn their armor into universal ornaments. We will allow players to do this with in-game effort or silver. This feature is in early development as expected sometime during year 4. Now, I saw even people on Twitter asking, hey, what is the in-game effort? Still honestly don't know. That's in question. But just the fact that transmog is coming, wanted to get each of your thoughts as you're the guest. CB, you're first.
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I think that that's something that people will love. And I also think they said it in the right way, where it sounds like they said either silver or in-game activities. And that's all I needed to hear. If it was something that every time I had to pay to do it, then I'd never do it. I mean, just personally, I never do it. But so it is nice to hear that. I mean, I think it's a cool feature. And I think having both avenues to unlock it I think it's a win.
With your pinnacle gear drops, you get an ornament like token or something like that, you go do a raid or a dungeon, make it something that actually gives the people a reason to go in there, and then also reward the people who do some of the hard stuff. So I'm good.
For sure.
I'm totally for it.
I'm all good with that. Yeah.
Cognito.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised to see it just so boldly written, and that it was really cool. You know, at the end of the day, you know, this is something the community has always wanted. We've kind of dipped our toe in it, you know what I'm saying, as far as the early initial ornament stuff, and they've been messing around. So to see them fully commit, really cool. I like the option, you know what I'm saying, kind of like what CB said, you know, not just silver. Also, we got to figure out what in-game effort is, though. We got to
that's true too.
We got to be clear, true. But I it's a positive step. You cannot be mad at this, and I love to see stuff like this. This was dope.
Yeah, so that was pretty much a big win from the start. I was just like, damn, first one, here we go. Okay, so second piece. Each season we will deliver an aspirational pursuit of armor. We haven't done this consistently in Destiny 2. This armor will come from activities, not the season pass, nor Eververse. And this is each season, by the way. As an example, we removed, and I love this, like this is one of those rare things when you see them getting ready for next season, already making a change. As an example, we removed the Eververse armor from season 11 and itemized it into an aspirational activity because this is the right thing to do for the game. I mean... You guys want to add anything to that?
It speaks for itself once again. I mean, first off, I love the openness, but being able to have those types of drops in other activities can bring so much more meaning to certain activities that right now are struggling to find any meaning. And one example I could give is strikes, like just in general. If they start attaching different items that people actually want to some of these other activities, I'm sure people will start running them again.
Absolutely.
Like so if they get this right, I mean, I feel like it's going to be great for the game. I'm very happy with.
Love it. One caveat for me is just that I know they attempted some of this in the beginning of D2. You know, Crucible Armor, Vanguard. You know, I know this is me selfish. I would like the coolness factor to be raised because I remember the initial Crucible armor set was, You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
The Vanguard element, I was not feeling the Vanguard set at all. So again, my issue has always been the coolness disparity from Eververse's armor versus what was actually achievable. But the fact that they're mentioning this, I have confidence that they're going to have that level of detail and coolness and stuff like that. I just got to see it. You know what I'm saying? Because that was my problem. Like the Eververse stuff just looks so much better than what was earnable. So we gotta keep that. I mean, listen, Bungie has. We all love what they do. I just want to see them commit to that level, but I think they are based on the transparency here. It looks like
I agree. I think you hit the nail on the head on that. And if it does look cool, I mean, we're all gonna be grinding for it.
Oh, facts.
I mean, that's the key. Yeah, it's like if it's worthwhile. Somebody in chat said it. We said it before. I've been working on solo flawless Pit of Heresy. Finally finished that thing up, but it's like if there was any way to earn pieces of armor that weren't Dreambane, stat pieces of crap, if it was actually like dropping chunks of armor off of Zolmak and I looked like a freaking Fire Hive Knight, I would be just like in heaven, right? I'd be like, dude, I will do this every week. It had like no question about it because I'm gonna walk around the tower like a monster. Like that'd be awesome. So yeah, no, this and the fact that they're doing it that soon, that's really great. Honestly, I'm
super
very
impressive.
pleased. Yeah. So the next piece, we are improving the rewards, and this is one where actually we'll have some questions for you guys. We are improving the rewards for aspirational activities, raids, trials, and dungeons. Going forward, aspirational activities will reward players with power, items, and vanity. When we build an aspirational activity, it will have at least one accessory to pursue. Not entirely sure where you claim accessory, if that's the vanity thing, hopefully. The team's working on adept weapons for trials. Trials will get new armor, aka not reprisal, so a brand new set, accessories, and weapons in Season 13. Trials will get new armor every year. Destiny's new raid will have brand new armor, weapons, and exotic accessories to pursue. No spoilers. So first piece is going forward, aspirational activities will reward players with power, items, and vanity. I think we probably all agree that one's pretty good. Can't really go wrong. Now here's the trial stuff. This is where I want to ask you guys. We are currently in Season 10. Season 11 is the summer. Season 12, the fall expansion. Season 13, you can picture that one as December-ish.
Yeah.
Trials will get new armor, accessories, and weapons in Season 13. So Trials is not going to get new armor, new weapons, or accessories for 6 months. Just to put a time frame on it. They are working on the adept weapons, probably for a similar time frame as well. How do you guys feel about that?
I'll jump in. I was honestly letting it soak up a little bit. But that's a tough one. I mean, honestly, I'm willing to wait on some of the cosmetic / weapon stuff as long as we fix the issues correctly. So if we can get a good handle on the cheating scene, if we can get a good handle on the error codes because they're still happening, if we can get a good handle on incentivizing, like, so in terms of like, I mean, I know like no part of incentivizing is new weapons and new armors, I get it, but I just mean like in general of like not incentivizing people to token farm the 3 wins, like really making it very worthwhile going flawless. So even if that means like right now, flawless doesn't mean an adept weapon. If it means 3 ascendant shards, I don't know. That's just spitballing. So just whatever. Just like in a gigantic bucket of tokens. Like whatever it takes. Like if they can just get the structure of it right, where then all they have to do is plop the weapons and the armor into it. If they're plopping that into a working trials, I'm fine.
Let me jump right in, man. See, we got he on it, right? He on it. I'm so with you, brother. I'm so with you because I know where you're going.
No, I mean, that's the other side. So he said it perfectly. But yeah, I had to ask.
Asking a fantastic question. I think my thing with Bungie in the past has always been, I don't have a problem with waiting as long as you are transparent. When they do stuff like this, that eases the blow. Right? You set the expectation. Okay, guys, this is the reality. And we just finished coming off saying, hey, resources are low, because we all know what's going on behind the scenes. They're not going to always say that part. But behind the scenes, we know what's going on. So the fact that they're doing it, though, like, I'm super impressed. Because to be honest, like, I I'm a huge PvP. I love trials. That's my heart. You know, shout out to the warlocks out there with your pharaoh armor. I love looking like a pharaoh, bro. You know what I'm saying? That helmet, I gotta get the helmet. If Ares would stop messing up my 6-win card, Ares, if you in there, and stop ruining my lighthouse runs, maybe I can get my favorite
Get off the
warlock helmet
Stadia
of all
and go
time.
play somewhere else. You'll run into him in a riot.
Listen, man, but Stadia got no cheating. That's the only reason why I'm over there. For
I know.
PvP only.
Yeah.
I don't want to be aimbot. I actually feel like I'm decent in the game when I'm in Stadia.
Yeah.
So anyway, the whole thing is, look, adapt weapons are coming. You know what I'm saying? That warms my heart. Reward that high level stuff. You know, as far as, you know, adding every year, I was surprised that we're gonna get a new set. That is a resource commitment, y'all.
Yep,
Make
it
no
is.
mistake. That is not easy.
But also picture the retirement. All that other stuff's going away.
That's true, but I still like the fact from a creative standpoint.
Yeah,
that
no.
we could get some cool visuals.
And the good thing is too is at least you'll be able to take those trials weapons into normal Crucible, and that'll work in comp too. So it'll transfer into something.
Exactly.
Like maybe not trials, but you'll still be able to use it in some places.
Yeah, this is cool, man. I like these goals. I think these goals are really good, man.
I was gonna say I agree with you, Cognito. Another big thing too is just I'm liking the standard that they're setting for these TWABs right now, because the level of, like you said, transparency and the level of communication. If this is something that we can keep up,
bro,
like, and it doesn't mean like every single TWAB having like a kabillion features that I love, but just keeping us in the loop.
Yeah, man,
I mean, and I'm gonna be okay. Like, and you know, like we're at this. We don't quite yet have this done yet, but we're getting there. Like, you know, and just instead of just having us in the dark, and then when they do plop something into the game, it's not what we want because they didn't tell us for 6 months.
Exactly.
We might have been able to say something 4 months back where they could have made a change, but now it's too late to make a change. So, I do think that that a lot of this is good. And just for one quick example, the trials rotation that got mentioned, we found out that trials was rotating. We were able to give feedback and it got changed without even being a week. Right. Like, you know, and that type of stuff is something that I'm looking forward to in the future of Bungie being able to have that dev to player relationship. Yeah.
And let's be honest, you know, as much as sometimes we give Bungie crap, a lot of the community does. Let's just say that. You know, I gotta admit, I'm old. I've been gaming a long time. I have not seen a company with this level of transparency with their community on a weekly basis. And I've been around a lot of games. Most companies, developers, don't let you in behind the scenes, behind the curtain, as to why things are taking long. That's why I appreciate when Luke Smith does a director's cut. Like, you really getting the feel and the feedback of the studio. Like, that's rare gems, man. So again, salute to them on this, because I'm with you, CB, in the sense that, will I have liked it to be, you know, quicker? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, even if it's a transitionary thing where, okay, we're going to wait till season 13 or whatever it is, right? But in between then, like you said, maybe shards get introduced more at the flawless.
And one thing I'm also advocating for, maybe plop in the old Trials of the 9 weapons revamped then. I don't know. Just experiment.
Just to experiment with assets and stuff like that. So I think it will be a gradual thing of them tweaking until they get to their ultimate goal. But ultimately, I think this is really cool. I was surprised to see this. This is a huge commitment to something I didn't think they would get in front of. So that's where I'm at. So, but yeah, E, what was your feeling when you saw all this stuff?
Honestly, it's like, I mean, as I'm less of a PvP player, I was more curious about the reaction from some. If people take take a second and think about, you know, what they are committing to. If they take the second and think about what CB's saying for, hey, if they fix the cheating, if they fix the mode, if they fix the flawless chest being valuable, all those things are working properly. If you dump another set of like weapons in, like in season 11, you're like, oh, same crap, same, you know, three win token farming and all that stuff. That doesn't feel as rewarding as in fix the other stuff now, then the rewards have you an even better feel later. If people take just a second, realize that, it's perfect. Like, it's just the point of people like, hey, I'm going to do trials all this season. I've grinded out so much. I'm helping people get there. I got another 6 months of the same weapons and armor. Like, that's some people will have that reaction. So I was honestly trying to see.
That's fair. No, that's definitely fair.
That's fair.
And that's
fair. I mean,
So no, and that's why I was kind of wanting to see what you guys would say is definitely more PvP, PvE, and I'm somewhere in the middle of that. I am. But I was like, I haven't done trials, but like a tiny bit. But it was like definitely more PvE. But I like when I read that, I was like, I could see some people having an issue, but the way you phrased it is perfect. If the patience is there, I think the payoff is going to be much better in the end.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Big thing in bold, beginning in Season 12, we will no longer be selling ships, ghost shells, sparrows, or armor ornaments in Eververse that are visually based on themes from aspirational activities. We just talked about this, but like dungeon armor or dungeon ships or all those things we've just mentioned, like we are not planning on changing existing items as at this time as we could be spending time on itemizing stuff for the future. So Season 11, outside of the one change they mentioned, probably going to stay as is. But going in the fort, like beginning in Season 12, if there's a pyramid ship raid, who knows, but whatever. That stuff, you're going to be able to earn all the cosmetic things that go with that. The ship, the sparrow, the ghost, that's
huge. Like, I mean, I just even think about the level of time people spent in Shattered to get the ship, in the Ascendant Challenge to get the ghost. It's just crazy, like, what even one small cosmetic can do for an activity. And so I'm really, like, I mean, it doesn't even always have to be a weapon. That's been proven. Like, I mean, we've seen it.
Preach.
I mean, all the way down to Outbreak, everybody going for Nano Phoenix. I still every once in a while jump in there. I'm like, will I get it this time? It's only been 6 years. Nope, not this time. I'll go back and try it again. But yeah, all the way down to back then. Like, it's always held true that, you know, like, with the right incentive, I mean, people will keep playing things.
Preach it, brother. I mean, I'm on it. This warms my heart. This is what I'm talking.
This whole thing from him was great.
I went on a rant. I went on a last word rant last week just about this. It's so crazy to see it come back so fast. And the thing is, it's just like, I mean, it's gotten to the point, CB, where it's like, when I'm in a fire team, I'll rock my platinum Starling, the iron, the black armory ship, because I know so many people, you know, haven't got it. It's like a badge of honor.
That's right? Like my Adobe Labs Ghost. I did the same thing.
I did the same thing. They know you didn't buy it, right? You know
it has my soul in it.
You put blood, sweat, and tears to get that thing. So I'm going to showcase this, and that's the destiny I miss, right? Just having those visual cues that I would never forget, either going into the tower or you're sitting in orbit and you're like, yo, how did you get that? I remember going up to other guards. Where did you get that? Oh, I ran such and such. Man, I ran 75 forges, or you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. And that's what I miss, as opposed to, I bought that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such a disparity. So I love this change because like I stressed last week, ornaments, all this stuff, ships, that's loot too.
No, it is. Agreed. And attached to the right thing, we'll grind it over and over. I have still every once in a while gone back to Rat the Machine, just thinking that it might be the time. It hasn't been yet. but I still don't have enough.
Somebody flip that switch off, and you'll never get it at this point.
I might just be running it. It's not even available.
I gotta ask you, E. You're the dungeon master. You're the soloist. Nightfall soloist, dungeon man. Like, how does this make you feel that you could be ending up looking like Zone Man? You could be getting your shattered throne on. You could be looking like a guard in here.
No, like, that's the idea, because, like, I mean, D1 had this stuff. You had the Saber Strike. You had that thing for the Warlocks. You had
the helmet with the little electricity.
You had the Dark Blade Skull for the Titans was beast.
Allah cool. Yep, the Allah cool.
Allah cool. So those were things they had before. Like, that's when you're like, like this strike, dude, I might actually get this cool thing. Like, there was incentive, again, as you're saying. It's been back there. Why we've been waiting for some reason sometimes this long to get some of this stuff. But yeah, it's like soloing Shattered Throne. Like, I'm literally shaking. My blood pressure is probably at like 180s. Like, when I'm doing a couple of these things, whether it's the totem fight in Pit of Heresy, like soloing that thing's yikes. When you're doing the Golgoroth fight or the Vorgeth fight in Shattered Throne.
Yeah.
Both of those, I was like, you know, I've got it down to this thing. I'm using the bow, whittling all these wizards. When I get done with those places, I want to walk out of there with more than a freaking emblem. I'm honestly tired of emblems being everything.
Preach.
Like, emblems have been so many things, and it's like, finally, we got the Ghost with Guardian Games, and I was like, this is like actually a small token of like a glimmer of hope with the Ghost, and then now we see this. I was like, they're making strides in a proper direction to reward you for the time you put into the game, and this just continues to say they're going to stick with it, which is good. So
I completely agree. Well said.
Fire.
Next big piece, core playlist reward changes, Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible. We are adding a new set of armor for the core playlist, Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible. The armor shares a set of new geometry with decals and shaders specific to the activity. We will create new sets of armor like this each year. Examples: year 4, year 5, year 6, etc. This set will arrive alongside the next expansion. So each fall expansion is going to get a set of armor for Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible.
So is this AKA like a vendor refresh? I was trying to
point, I've got to imagine. Yes, I got to think at least armor. Yeah.
I'm wondering if like we're gonna be able to get like a maybe a normal set from the vendors, and then maybe like random drops as we do the activities or something with different stat rolls. I'm trying to like envision how that's gonna work, but I'm happy about it. I definitely want to refresh regardless, and I hope it's cool stuff like Cognito said before. Something that looks cool.
Yeah, I just like the way they phrased it's a new set of geometry. It's not, hey, here's this thing with like a slight texture difference here, but it's the exact same thing. It's like it's a new build. Yeah. But they've got decals and shaders specific. So you're going to have like the core playlist. I think they're going to get you a set of armor for all 3 potentially. But then you're going to have shaders and they say decals, which is a weird way for them to phrase it. That's like a decal is like a sticker. But like I picture that as more of like, is it going to be an ornament for it? I'm not sure.
That's what that was my interpretation. What do you think, Cognito?
I'm thinking possibly you know how like Gambit, each activity kind of has like an emblem associated with it,
like the for snakes example, for Gambit.
Snakes for Gambit, and then the bird kind of thing for what you call Crucible. It. Vanguard has the V. You know what I'm saying, kind of thing. Crucible. So yeah, I mean it's interesting. I mean, shout out to Gambit getting some stuff because Warlocks that Gambit armor, I am not putting that on. Listen, Warlocks, we gotta be fly, and that
ancient apocalypse stuff. That's not really
apocalypse. Throw that in the bushes.
I like what they're doing though, because I think they're like it's all fitting into a bigger puzzle where they're trying to make these activities more worth it. And so like one thing that they did before that was adding the +1s. Like I mean, like strikes, like once there was like you couldn't even get above 1,000 with strikes anymore, and there was no specific loot for them, and like they kind of like there was no point in doing them.
Facts.
And so like I'm liking that they're building like reason to do these activities +1s. Like actual refreshes of loot, like hopefully eventually some exclusive stuff per certain activities. Like if they keep like slowly building these puzzles, like there's going to be a lot of, I mean, there was so many people in D1 that would spend a whole day running strikes.
Bro, preach.
A whole day. I used to do it all the time in college.
Yes, I used to do the same thing.
I'd spend a whole day trying to get a Maga loop. A whole day trying to get that grasp. Like, so I'm really, really excited for where like this could go. Like it's still early, but it's all positive. In my opinion,
super positive because again, these are the core activities. These are the things that we are going to grind consistently. So if you like CB said, if you give that incentive and you give cool rewards as a result, whether it be cosmetic or whatever, the community has shown we will run this stuff a zillion times, man. We will do it.
Way too many times.
There's stuff if there's stuff to be had, we will do. Again, very very cool. I'm excited.
Yep.
So positive. Whether it's decal, shaders, ornaments, who knows, but all of that, each expansion we get one, which is pretty cool. Also starting in season 12, which is year 4, if you guys need to keep all that square, we are adding a new pursuit weapon each season. This weapon can be earned by playing your preferred core playlist, so that is Strikes, Gambit, or Crucible, so you can get it from any of them. This weapon will have activity-specific legendary skins that can be unlocked in each playlist. So you'll be able to earn the weapon by any basic activity. I think it would basically be the way, hey, here's Ariana's Vow. To get this catalyst, you need to run 400 of all the basic activities. It's probably going to be something similar, I would imagine. And then you've got a skin. If you like, hey, I love strikes, you're probably going to get that skin or ornament that unlocks to make this thing be more of the strike look. Or I play a crap load of Crucible. Hey, I've got the Crucible ornament to slap on it. So everybody's going to have access to this one weapon, but you're going to have a way to customize personally your look in whatever you play. For those who love Gambit, whoever you are, you'll be able to put that on there too. I wanted to get... Yeah, go ahead.
Got a question though. I'm confused. Maybe I'm reading wrong. When I read pursuit weapon, are we kind of throwing that ritual weapon?
Yes,
that's what I've got to imagine. Say.
And that was when I read the TWAB on my stream yesterday. It seemed like we were getting some mixed kind of feedback on that line, or because if that does replace ritual, that would probably mean that potentially the new going forward is going to be, instead of 3 weapons, probably 1 that looks different depending on the activity you do. and that's what it seems like at least.
Yep.
And so it's an interesting thing.
I guess the only reason why I'm questioning is that prior to our ups, right? Recently, they explained why they were going away from it, and they were like how some of these legendaries became too strong in a way, right? And then so they basically went from what was it? Was it Ritual to I forgot the name?
They went from Pinnacle to Ritual.
Pinnacle to Ritual,
yep.
right?
Yeah.
So now we're Pursuit, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess the question
Pursuit.
about
Need for
Good
Speed,
one,
Hot
good
Pursuit, great game by the way.
good one, good one. I love it. That's a good game.
It
So it's
was. It really was.
It really was. It really was. Shout out to E on that one. So it's like, I guess I'm happy they're coming. Don't get me wrong. I'm confused because I thought they were fighting this. So I just wanted to bring it back to you guys. Like, how powerful do you think these things are going to be?
I think it's all cause type. I think it's all cause and effect. I feel like it sounds like they're worried. I mean, they don't want to lock themselves into 3 weapons a season. It must be too rich. It must be too rigorous for them to make 3 extra weapons that are all good and actually worth it. Or else I don't see why they would navigate away from Ritual. That just seems to be my initial thought on that.
CB, let me ask you. So you think it's 1 per season as opposed to 3 per season?
That's what I'm thinking, and I'm hoping if that was to be the case, because I think we can all agree that Rituals were okay, but it's not like they were game changing.
Yeah, facts.
Let's hope that if we are having a Pursuit weapon instead of Rituals, I'm hoping that it'll at least be in between Pinnacle and Ritual, and better than our Ritual weapon, so that if we're getting 3, like not bad, because Python was pretty good at 1-2 punch. I think it was a great option for people if they need a 1-2 punch shotgun, but it also didn't break the game. Right. The way like a Recluse or Mountaintop would or something. So if they are going to lock themselves to 1 every season, then maybe they can boost it up a little bit, maybe a little bit. So maybe they'll be able to play around with how good these weapons are if they do it this way, and it'll be less dev stress. Yeah, I don't know. That's just all like theories. Yeah, and it could be.
What do you think, man?
Me, I guess it also honestly depends on what else we get based on each season. Like the expansions obviously drop a decent chunk of weapons. The seasons have been smaller, but I mean, how many weapons did we have in Season of Dawn? We had, between the obelisks and then the tower obelisks, we had like 10 or something like that.
Yeah, there's a decent amount.
This time around, we had like 4 or 5 for. Yeah. I was like, it'd be nice to make. So I guess. If we're only getting 1, maybe as CB's saying, it does have that like squeak more performance. So it's just a small tier above that. Hey, you got to go run 100 activities. It's like, damn, that's going to be a while. But when you do get said thing, it's going to be just a little bit better, which is a nice payoff, at least for your investment. Yeah. I like how you can get the skin and make it be like, hey, I'm a PvE guy. I run strikes like crazy. Guess what? You can slap a PvE skin on it. Sport your PvE. But the idea is, I guess, that the 1 has to be tied into what we get each season. If I get 3 weapons in a season from this activity, and we get 3 weapons in an entire season, I only get 1 more, I'm like, that's not enough. But if we're getting like 10, then I'm like, yeah, 1 more is cool. So it's like, it's the balance of what is the seasonal offering versus the 1 pursuit, because if you're taking away 2 potentially, Ritual, I'm going to get those names confused too. 2 rituals, then it's like, I would like 1 of each weapon, like every season potentially, because submachine gun, shotgun, stuff like that. Not everybody plays the same way. Not everything's always in the season.
That's true.
All that type of stuff. So it's the balance of those 2.
It'll get sprinkled in other places, as hopefully we'll see like that dispersed in other places. Hopefully, that's the hope.
My only caveat too is that if it is the 1. I love the aspect
the Highlander of weapons.
I love the aspect of being specific, like a new perk created. Now I know people say, "Hey,
I hear you."
Because that's what made Recluse and all this stuff kind of cool, right? Obviously, with arm and stuff. And my thing is, the reason why I'm justifying it is because with You Be Happy with weapon retirement, right?
Yep.
Mountaintop and all that stuff is going to go, right?
Yep.
Recluse is going to go.
You're 100% right.
So that's how you can kind of control it and rein it in. If it did get out of control, obviously, they're going to patch, they're going to tweak, they're going to do that stuff. Yeah. But I think this gives them an opportunity. Because I'm going to be honest, y'all. When Rituals came out, I mean, yes, Python was cool, but what's the SMG and Gambit? I don't know.
The exit strategy. Right?
Exactly. The fact that we don't even know the name, we only use it. Exactly. Exit it right into your vault. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't using that joint. So it's like, my thing is, I love those specific new perks. Even with Redrick's, you know, it had, what was the one that makes it spin up super fast when you get the precision kill? Desperado.
Yeah,
like, I love stuff like that. Just, you know, it was cool. And again, because of weapon retirement, I feel it's a nice opportunity to bring it back. But we'll see. That's just me being greedy. I don't know. That's all.
Are we? Cause I saw that it also went down.
Yeah, stream just went down for a second.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's just trying to come back up real quick. Should be attempting to reconnect. Here we go, coming back.
Come on back, yo. Come on back.
Okay.
It's alive!
It's alive! We're back.
We alive.
There we go. We live.
Pulling away, so he walked into the room, got all quiet, was like, was this something I said?
No, everything he said was right, but I was just looking at the corner of my eye, I was like, oh.
See, Bungie didn't like the idea that perk I was talking about. They don't want that ritual perk, that pinnacle perk.
You hit the nail on the head, though. No, I agree with everything you said. And hopefully, I mean, either they can do that where it's like a unique perk, or at least hopefully they can maybe make it where they have small little performance boosts in the certain avenues of the activities where they perform better. So then maybe at least you have an incentive to use them in said activities.
Yeah,
so
like,
there's different ways they can play around.
You get a 600 auto rifle that has, you know, a bit more range and a bit more reload speed than most anything else out there that sets it apart. Some way to set it apart is what you're going for. Be it a specific perk, which I do like the idea of, because that really is like, hey, this thing performs at least in a unique way, as opposed to here's this little bump in range and stability. Woo! It's like some people don't even like feel that type of stuff. You wanna see it perform in a slightly different way. So I agree. Final piece that Luke Smith touched on was dust and engrams. So they said we're making it easier for you to earn bright dust. We'll be moving away from character specific ways to earn bright dust and more toward account specific paths. This change is geared toward one character player significantly more bright dust than they earn today, which they've mentioned this a couple times now, because you've got players like us who probably play all three characters. I have one of each. We play a lot. They split everything. I've got a decent amount of stuff. Then you got the person who's like, I'm a Titan. I have one. I've got, 4 or 5 hours a week to play. We had, Captain McFly on here. He gets like 3 hours a week, or couple hours, 3 days a week to play. So like in 6 hours a week, he's not going to be able to burn through 3 characters. Still giving them a chance to earn more. Overall, seems pretty good.
And I thought they already started like experimenting pretty well with that and incorporating the bright dust into the Guardian Games bounties. I didn't even realize how much I was earning until I was like, I was actually able to like purchase some stuff in the actual like in Eververse, and I was surprised. I'm not used to having bright dust though. And I really like that. And I was like, this feels good. I'm grinding these bounties, trying to get heir apparent. Then I look and I'm like, 8,000 bright dust. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of bright dust. Really? And so I hope that continues to be the case, where it's like, all right, I just grinded, like 8 hours of this game. Hopefully, like my bright dust will start reflecting the amount of hours I'm putting in. Yeah. So I think that's all good stuff.
Well said, man. Yeah, this is all good, man. We want that the respect of the time commitment, and like you said, when you're doing these bounties and doing this grind to get that bright dust, to be able to reward yourself with a cool cosmetic, as opposed to always dumping in the checkbook and the credit card just to get something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like for the people who like live in your game, reward them. Like, I mean, come on, you got like thousands of hours in here. It's like, if I've got thousands of hours in the game, I've probably told other people to get out the game. I'm streaming about it. I'm trying to get other people in your world. Reward us for trying to do that. That's a general nice thing to do. Finally, they're updating the Bright Engram to be more relevant than it is today. The Bright Engram in the Season Pass will be updated to include various Year 3 Eververse items previously sold for Silver and Bright Dust. Going forward, the Bright Engram will update each season to include Eververse items 3+ seasons prior. Joey is going to be about 9 months behind for Eververse for that Bright Engram, so anything you may have missed, you'll start catching up on a little more of the relevant stuff. You guys even care about this one? I've been getting I swear I'm working on like my year 1 or year 2 tab right now with all those.
Yeah. I'm patient, so I'm honestly okay with this. By the time 9 months rolls around, I'll go, if I saw something, I'll go take a peek and go look and go snag it. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it too, man. There's a lot of engrams, a lot of stuff that I missed out when I switched over to PC, because I switched accounts completely. Oh, okay,
Xbox
gotcha.
to PC. So some stuff I lost, and I missed certain ornaments or certain, exotics, man. I had the crispy hard light with the shiny. I missed that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like
that's like the white colored one almost, right? The shiny white hard light. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know the name,
some of those
but I know
joints
what
I
you're talking
miss.
about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I love the opportunity to be able to get some of that stuff back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that wraps up everything basically Luke said. As for the TWAB, it does go over, I'm just going to open this back up in a second. Cover Guardian games. Titans basically have won the thing. Shout out to Warlocks on Hunters. If one of you takes one of these days before this thing ends, you will be in second place. So all the Titans, can you guys like take one day off and give Warlocks it? Just one. Sleep in for a day, go outside, give Warlocks one. That way the Hunters can have their bronze. Because I'm sorry, that Hunter cloak looks good in all three, but the silver on your arm looks pretty solid.
Yeah, I can rock with the silver. I'll take that.
I'll take the gold.
On the arm.
Take the gold, Mark. Take it home.
Yes, we know you take it. Yes. Oh, good.
And then the Guardian Heart charity, it is wrapping up on Tuesday. Basically a weekly reset. If you guys haven't seen the Guardian Heart charity, all their efforts, they passed 700,000. They're over 750,000 right now, which is just insane. Every beautiful. $20. Oh, the community is so amazing, as we've talked about. Till we're blue in the face in the beginning of this podcast. There are a few Bungie bounties left, or if you are still trying. If you're in the United States, this one might be early, but Zoe may have actually sent you guys to her before. 5 a.m. on PC. So that's 7 a.m. for me, 8 a.m. for you guys. Yep. And then a couple that we know fairly well, or at least I do. May 11th, we've got Jarv and Houndish.
Yeah, that's a really cool one. Both of them must be really, really cool.
Together, that's awesome.
Shout out to the YouTube scene. That's awesome.
Yeah. So couple more Bungie bounties if you want. Kind of funny. And What's Good Games were today at noon. So if you missed that one, that was your PS4 last one.
Is Fami going too?
Fami went 1 a.m. this morning. He did this morning, 1 a.m.
Yeah, it's because he's in Australia, so he's 12 hours ahead. Yeah.
And then,
bam.
Yep. And then Bench and Polar Bear were today at 10. And then Kind of Funny was at noon. So the last two is tomorrow, bright in the morning, and then the 11th. So it'll be Monday. So not too many opportunities left if you're trying to get those Bungie bounty emblems, but try and hunt those people down, get up early, set that alarm, go play them out. And then, of course, we've got Iron Banner coming. Woo!
Banana.
Last chance for the bow.
Last chance for the bow. Yeah, there's a pretty crispy looking picture of the bow, but yes, Iron Banner, Bonus Valor, Pinnacles if you're going for those. But Point of the Stag, this is your last chance to get it. The weapon will not be available during Season 11, so get in there. Who knows, you'll maybe fall in love with the new bow. But again, I did want to ask you guys about that. This is one of those things, as this actually made me think of it. Outside of bugs and Ericos, you guys can read that stuff, but that's most of the TWAB. When it comes to things like Ariana's Vow, when is that stuff going to come back into the game? Because people who don't have Ariana's Vow right now, Grandmaster Nightfalls are rough
it's tough without that weapon. Yeah, no, I agree. That's a tough one. I mean, I think that the natural answer would be the next big DLC, but is that too long when a certain weapon becomes meta and then a person feels locked out? But one thing, I mean, I do think that if I had to take a guess, the weapons that are obviously like now, so Tommy's Matchbook, Ariana's, all those I think will be available in September. But then I think going forward after that, when we start getting weapons similar to Ariana's Vow, I don't think they're ever going to go away, because they were kind of mentioning trying to get away from the FOMO. So I think that this might go on one more season, possibly. I don't think they're going to drop next season, because I think we're going to get a new Ariana's Vow next season, in Season 11. But I do think that after Season 12, we'll stop having that issue. But it might just be one of the pains just to wait out until September, possibly.
What'd you think, E?
I mean, that's what I'd like to see. Obviously, Season 11, if Ariana's isn't there, Conqueror is going to be tough for some people, because for barrier and range, and part of it is just the way we have the artifact right now. The barriers are so close range. If we get back to, say, like pulses or scouts or something where you can work a little farther away, we'll have some more options, which would be nice.
Right.
All of this would still not be an issue. Cross my fingers. I'm going to probably say it every podcast. You know where I'm going. If we can get a mod slot on exotics.
Woo!
I want a mod slot on exotics would solve this whole issue, because it'd be like, oh, I need other options. That's just going to open more things up. I don't know if they're worried it's going to take away from the current season weapons, but then you have people who don't even have access to those, still get some random drops, but they can't use them. They got to give some more value and life back into those. So
Yeah.
I think hopefully in season 12 that is something they've got to work on. I've heard too many, not just us, I've heard too many people mention that. Hopefully that it's got to be.
I mean,
yeah.
it's so funny how it hasn't happened. So again, you know, when I hear them not talk about it, I always feel like they are concerned about it. That's how I always feel they are. Like they don't want us running through. But
it's a slippery slope. They don't want to make everything useless, and they don't want to make weapons that people aren't going to use. So it's tough because I hear you, Abundance, on it too, and then because it might be cool. It might make some exotics that don't get played a little bit more. Yeah. So it could also help some other exotics stop dominating other exotics. Who knows? But like but there's all those things to weigh. Like it's one of those tough things that I'm sure that they've thought about, but I'm sure it would be there if they weren't scared or if it was going to break the game at this point.
Yeah. Or from a development standpoint, maybe altering exotics. I don't know. You know, I wish
it's
I
tough.
knew.
It's tough. I don't.
But
because then what we have exotic god rolls, like in terms of perks, it would just be tough. It just it's tough. It's a tough slippery slope.
Like my example is like what was season 1 like was pulse rifles or something like that. I'm like, what if I pulled graviton lance out instead for a pulse and I could anti-barrier that?
I love it, bro.
That'd be awesome. See,
but that's a point where I don't think that breaks the game because literally the function, if they think the gun itself is balanced, like if I go into a game with graviton lance and you're like, that one cosmology explosion doesn't break the game, then all I'm saying is I want to use that on a barrier guy instead, and then I still function the same way. That's why I was like,
I'm with you.
I know you are. That's why I was like, that's why I keep saying it hopefully somebody out there hears it because that's why.
To CB's point,
maybe
I think it has to be something from the technical side on the back end to either, I don't know if it's just really difficult to do or to implement, you know what I'm saying? But it's got to be something because
they just added a mod slot
talking about it.
They just put a mod slot on every piece of armor they put in the game. All those seasonal pieces of armor that like all the faction ones, like they added slots to like 10. And they could even take an exotic weapon and say, hey, all it can take is the seasonal mods. You can't put backup mag or rampage or anything like that on there. All it can take is the seasonal mod, but at least you could use them. So I'll shut up now. I'll get off my soapbox.
Honestly, no. I mean, it's not a bad point. It's something that I hope that they at least weigh and see. Because it could be interesting. I mean, it would be cool if you could, make Graviton Lance or
Overload
Vigilance Wing, full auto going through any barriers. Who knows? I don't know.
Sunshot Overload.
You never know. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So like, it is at least an interesting thought. Like who knows? We'll see.
I would love to use Rat King. You know what I'm saying?
Have
a bunch of people running Rat King again.
With anti-barriers and just eating 3 champions because you have 3 of them.
3 of them? Oh, man. That would be so much fun. Absolutely.
Yeah, see all these, there's so many exotics that are not being utilized because literally, if you're going to go to that content, they're throwing these champions into everything that we're typically going to face, especially if they talk about aspirational content. But then you have this load of exotics that we can't use. So it's just a weird mix right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get it. Maybe it's expansion-y. Maybe it's something that just requires more time. And generally those bigger kind of changes, let's be real, when expansion is, when we get it, it's also like a huge change of life every expansion. They always do something to the game that really affects its core. So maybe it's one of those things that they can do and it just takes longer. So they've pushed that down into that zone. Because we always get surprised. Every expansion, we be like, "Oh wow, they doing this! Oh wow, this is cool."
No, I agree. I agree.
So what do you think? What would you guys like when it comes to the fall expansion? What is your what is the major fix? Is it a weapons 2.0? Is it armor 3.0? Is it? I know we've had a lot of good wins today, but is there any current function? Strike specific loot. Like, what do you guys feel?
Strike specific loot.
Yeah, I was gonna. You're like that right there. That's all I need.
Basically, on a higher scale, though, just trying to make some of the activities that have struggled to have value, just trying to bring the value back. So that can apply to trials, that can apply to strikes, it can apply to raids. It just blanket, just trying to bring point back into activities, I think is like one of the big things. We're getting the mods they're starting to be interesting, and we're starting to have customization. Same thing with with the armor and weapons. So except for the exotics, obviously we don't have the exotics. But we're starting to have interesting combos we can try. But if we could get some of those activities playable and rewarding. Same thing with Grandmaster Nightfalls too, even boosting those up a little bit more so people are in those for more than just Conqueror. Like if they can just put a blanket add in value to a lot of the activities, that would be my slam dunk. in September for me.
Yeah, literally on the same page. I mean, I'm such a proponent for raids, and I don't think they get enough credit for how great they are and how unique they are to the game.
Yeah.
So I'm all about incentivizing them, all about always having like a pinnacle activity raid rotator list, because one thing that breaks my heart
100%.
is that, you know, you got something as beautiful as the Last Wish and no one's not running it no more, right?
Yeah.
But if you incentivize and say, yo, this week, Last Wish, you guys can get pinnacles in there, that it just drives engagement.
100%. And I think that's something that they got 100% right in Destiny 1.
Yes.
At the end, when they started rotating, they brought all the great ornaments. They were rotating. That was at one of the best points in terms of from a rating experience.
Of Triumph,
Age of Triumph. Yep,
one
I
of
got
the
the shirt
greatest.
on right now.
Woo, love it. Because again, think about how cool. Like you did.
DS Titans aren't so bad.
You got the Wi-Fi helmet. You know what I'm saying? You did Crota. You coming out outfitted it looking like Oryx. Like all that stuff.
And that was their best ornaments too.
Woo,
Oh, those
that chroma. Remember that
that armor was gorgeous.
For sure. Yep. And
Bro,
so
like,
that would be huge. You made a great point. The rotating raids back would be awesome. And they already at least said a few things. I know about the TWAB. What was the line they said up earlier in today's and yesterday's TWAB? What was the line they said about raids? Can you repeat what they had said if you scroll back up to the top? I think it was where
I'm
they
looking.
talking about the geometry thing? Or?
No, not the geometry. They did just mention some
Going
about
forward,
making the
aspirational
raids.
activities will reward players power, items, and vanity. That part.
So if they can get the two things for me, it's like I just wanted to say, so one, if they can make the old raids replayable, and if they can just make raids in general more rewarding, those are the two things. So if they're already touching a little bit on trying to make it more rewarding, so if they can also, I'm with you. I would love if every blue moon, if Spire Stars is a powerful,
Bruh.
or pinnacle, excuse me. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go have a blast from the past day of Spire Stars and get a powerful thing out of it.
Yeah.
So
maybe increase the
raid
drop
playlist.
rates.
Yeah.
Increase the drop rates of a little anarchy, a little 1K. You know what I'm saying? People in there.
Hey,
man.
you didn't get Last Wish. Well, guess what? Anarchy drop rates are buffed, and you can get a pinnacle if you finish, the heart run or whatever. It's like, and then you're gonna have people being like, "Hey, I got to figure out these raids again because there's actually a reason to do the old ones." That would be huge. That one I completely agree with for you guys. That one's huge, is the rewarding. And the other piece, Prescott said it, and this is one I've thought about too. They've teased this already. The obelisks and things of that nature. Like, make the vendors like the obelisks have been. Be like, have a way to level those up with like spending your time in the strikes. You level up Zavala to like, hey, level 10, you unlocked a new mod, or you unlock and have some long-term engagement stuff with those. Because right now, I could turn in 4,000 tokens to the Crucible guy, and it doesn't mean a damn bit of anything.
Agreed. And that used to be really cool at Destiny 1 too, the packages system. When you turn in packages to the Crucible and to the Vanguard, and you might get a crazy palindrome or something. Like it was just there was really cool stuff with the turning into vendors. So I agree. I would love if vendors got a nice revamp.
Exotic class items and all that.
Oh, dude.
My black dead orbit, exotic mark.
Yep.
That was amazing too. It's just those small little things that you wouldn't think would change the gaming experience, but there were people grinding all of those class items on all characters. I know I had mine, so yeah.
Hold on.
Because you would inspect somebody, you'd be like, how do they have an exotic class item? That's like, and then you go do your research, you go look, and like, all right, well, I need to start my journey on getting this new dead orbit mark. So
shout out to my man Dane in the chat. Dane Galang, he says, make old weapons, random rolls. I'm with that, man, because again, like, it adds more flavor to some of them. Could you imagine? You have a random roll, weapons that maybe didn't get any
inaugural address. Inaugural address and Midnight Coup almost probably are good. They're only probably going to get worse, but still, yes.
But so like maybe the conspirator though, right? Because or not the conspirator or the what's the auto? The auto's the damn it!
I forget the name of it right now.
Somebody will remember in chat.
Primus? Ghost Primus?
Ghost Primus. Ghost Primus. Yeah. It's like because in the auto rifle meta, and I was kind of saying that same thing with making strikes viable too again. Yep. With making like, let's say, what if the duty bound could roll random again? Then in this auto rifle meta, people might be running duty bounds.
I know.
I hate seeing that thing drop. I'm like, here's another basic piece of crap.
So great point, Kev. Like, because that's huge. Like that's huge.
Yeah, man. Because think about it right now. we're getting interference back with new perks. We're getting Last Hope now with kill Feeding Frenzy and kill all these crazy rolls of old weapons that we used to love. So I would love that mindset to be applied to the raids, because let's be honest, like a lot of the raid weapons, aside from a few standouts here and there per raid, and the exotics, of course, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the raid loot kind of feels generic.
No, I 100% agree. And like, even just take like an example of like, I believe in Argos where the grenade launcher could drop. If that could have dropped with spike nades back when spike nades were like really like super meta with like Swarm of the Raven, everybody want Swarm of the Raven, or people wanted Wendigo. And you could go into Argos and grind a got roll. Like, that'd be awesome. And
then we'd be playing raids to grind specific checkpoints and activities in the raid for a good roll.
100%. And I want them to take the same love in PvE, because I want them doing PvE, and I would love if they could sprinkle them into the Trials of the 9 weapons being random rolled in PvP, because some of those are still beasts too without good rolls. Like some of those pulse rifles, like I know Relentless, and I think there's one other one I'm trying to remember, but they're already good with not even great perks. And so if they could show that same love on both sides of the spectrum, I mean, they could really get it right.
Facts. I would love a very, because I see duty bound, like you said, E. Yeah. And it's like, man, 600s are nice right now.
They are.
Like, I would love random roll 600s from a raid or some type of nightfall activity.
100%.
Man,
or let me grind a gut roll DFA or something. I'm gonna be in it.
I still don't have DFAs.
I don't have DFAs.
No,
none of us.
That's one of my favorite weapons in the game.
Yeah, I gotta
DFA
get that
kept me going in curses. That's one of my favorite weapons in the game.
Nice.
Still amazing and
I've tried a lot.
weapon.
It did not happen. So yeah,
yeah.
But that's like
weapons of myth.
Yeah, that's pretty much all they've got for the 12 this week. Is there anything else you guys want to cover for topics? I know we kind of actually do have one for you, cbgray. We've asked this to some guests. I feel like I've fallen off of it a few times, but for your history of Destiny, as we're getting ready to capstone about 6 years end to end, I want top 3 just moments in the game itself for you.
We've gone away from it. Good question.
Yep.
Oh, moments in the game. Oh my gosh.
So not like making a video, but gameplay moments for you that are just like chef's kiss.
Or some moments. Maybe some Destiny moments.
Like, and so this moments like, so in like I'm playing the game and I have a moment within something within the game. So like
one of my, I'll give you one of mine. For my example is when my buddy and I, one of my best friends, we 2-manned Crota, and it was like we practiced for like a couple hours, and we just like whole damn thing, and that was our flawless raid too. So like 2-man flawless Crota, and it was like that's one of mine that will always stick with me. So that's just an example. So what are your like just epic moments for you? Just 3. It doesn't have to be like the craziest thing, but yeah.
So one, like I still gotta put like one of my first Vault of Glass experiences in there. It was something that like I always remember how that went.
You're welcome every time back.
Oh man,
you repeat.
Dude, this is really tough on me to cap it to 3.
I mean, if you just keep saying it, we'll go with it. But yeah.
Oh man, like capping it to 3. Yeah, like I'll put the vault in there. And then oh man, like my first flawless in Destiny 1 was also a very great. Like I also really loved that moment.
Nice, there you go.
Oh man,
lighthouse action.
But man, by the light. There's like it's tough. Like there's a moment in game 2 that will always be one of my favorite moments that like wasn't even an activity, but was like where we brought the whole community together in the tower, where like we had a gigantic like tower sesh for a song that I made, and made a whole music video in the tower, coordinated dance in the tower. That's during awesome. Crimson Days. And just bringing everybody together and working together was still probably one of my favorite moments. Just seeing everybody together and making a more or less it was like a musical in the tower.
That's awesome.
was definitely another moment. But then Niobe Labs was a really fun moment too.
That's if you got them, that's big.
And then that's 4 that I mentioned.
Yeah,
I gotta put an honorable mention to my first 35 Skull Loss too. That was a time. There's too many times. Yeah. There's too many times. All in all, I love the game too much to put it into.
That's why it's always hard to do 3, but that's it's always good to put you on the spot on that one. Nice list.
I really it's hard. That's a hard one. It's hard.
That's a good list though. It's a solid list. Yeah, and you're like, I didn't know it was gonna be under so much pressure.
All right, well, I'm about to reverse. So what got you guys into starting content creation? Like, what made you want to take Destiny from just playing Destiny to doing what you guys do now, where you bring people on, you're talking about the game, talking about the state of the game, helping people out as well, and really just what made it want it to be from I'm playing the game to now I am streaming / making videos / making podcasts and all of the other stuff that comes with what we all do.
Podcast we can blame for Guardian Con 2017,
really?
right?
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
We met both of these two. I'll keep the language decent. Both of us two were out there in the swamp sweat and passing out business cards for the crazy people in line at Tampa Fairgrounds. Kept bumping into each other around there. And then just kind of kept in touch, and then some reason we're dumb enough to start a podcast during Curse of Osiris. So like that was just like when we knew it's like, hey, do you sure, what? Like all of those times were ridiculous. That's where the podcast at least came from me, and I'd probably say you're probably pretty close there. As for the content creation for me, probably kind of said it a little bit earlier, but just like wanting to, I've watched other people make it so much. I had a point where I had a break that I took that I thought I could try. And it's just one of those games that I had lived and breathed it enough, and I knew I was decent enough, and I had worked through these challenges myself, and I was just like, if I can do these myself, can I actually record myself, figure out all the process, and self-teach OBS and recording and capture cards and all the crazy stuff? I'm like, this can be done. I'm a techie, kind of smart dude, and I'm just like, I'll see if I can give this thing a shot. And I was just like the first video putting up, and then like Division was coming out around the same time, trying to cover both of those. That was about when I started. It was like
how long ago was that?
I started, what am I, 4+ now? Because it would have been when Division 1 came out. That was probably about 4 months into my channel. So whatever that year is, it's probably.
So it's a little bit more than that had to be more than 4. Division 1 came out. I was a freshman in college, and now I'm over 2 years out.
Because Division,
so it came out a while ago. I remember when it came out.
Division 1, March 8 of 2016.
2016. Oh, 2016. Wow. Did I play?
Have I been at this? And that's what I'm like. Have I been doing this for that?
No, then I was a junior. Then did I play a demo? When did the first trailer come out? Maybe the trailer came out back then. No, I guess I was a junior in college when it came out. I don't know why. I thought who knows? But very, very cool. I'm 4 years in June. 4 years in. What about you, Cognito?
Oh man,
let me hear it.
For me, obviously, he said the podcasting. That was, my first Guardian Con. Again, shout out to Tampa Bay, the fairgrounds, hot. No AC, but we're out there. You're just networking, and me and E hit it off immediately. I'm like, man, he knows his destiny. Like I never met someone with the same amount of passion I have for the game. Yeah. So that was the start of that, and I didn't care that it was at its lowest point because I love the game so much, and I just love talking about the game. Yeah. So, the weekly updates, that kind of stuff. And then it fed into where we are now. As far as, my channel, obviously Iron Lord's podcast, if you can't put it together, that day you start from Destiny. You know what I'm saying? Like most people like, oh, you guys were a Destiny podcast. And initially we were actually Destiny only at one point. Yeah. And when we first started out, shout out to Addict, shout out to those guys, King and Sov. And I think what ended up happening was people like, we had a community that loved when we talk about Destiny, and then people were like, oh my God, you're still talking about that game? So that kind of transitioned into Last Word, so I could have my fix. Gotcha. Me and E can still talk, and I can just still talk only about Destiny, whereas Iron Lord Podcast kind of evolved into a multi-platform kind of a thing. So we talk consoles, we talk what's going on in the industry and stuff like that. We still gonna talk about Destiny. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part,
you guys do an amazing job, and to go over 100 in anything is very, very respectable. And speaking of Guardian Con 2, for anybody who doesn't know in chat, me and Abanis also met finally at Guardian Con. We knew of each other before, but we kind of put 2 and 2 together. He kind of looked at me, I kind of looked at him, and we knew. You? That's me? Yeah. And so we also hit up.
I will tell you guys from experience, if you wear a shirt with your name plastered on it, it actually kind of works. I'll be honest.
It's kind of helpful.
Yeah, I was like, I recognized the logo on his shirt. Yeah. I recognized my hair. I don't know what might have set it off. But we had that moment. We had that moment, and so so I'm very grateful to just have got this chance. It's been really cool, and we got to continue talking about more Destiny. It's always fun talking about Destiny. And I think that overall, like, to kind of put a wrap on the whole Destiny thing, I mean, I feel like overall we're like in a place where I think we're right about to be there. Like I'm seeing some of the signs where I think if they just keep doing what they're doing and keep being transparent, like I'm hoping that we get that home run that I know that everybody wants. Like everybody at the end of the day wants Destiny to be good. Like I mean, nobody just enjoys it being bad. So like I mean, I really think that like we're it's gonna be we got some good stuff coming. In my opinion. So I'm very very excited to see where we're at here in September, if October, if they follow through like Shadowkeep. I'm not sure what they're gonna do in terms of the new cadence. In terms of if they're going to stick to October with Shadowkeep, or are we going back to September? I'm not really sure.
They got the flexibility now. They're not beholden to Activision, so
that is true.
They have more, and I thought that was impressive that Shadowkeep actually got pushed a little bit, based on Daddy Activision always behind. Yeah, it needs to come out at this time. So that's the advantages of independence.
Yeah, and I also respect like what Abans was saying too about year 4, year 5, year 6. I mean, I don't think that was always the plan. I'm sure at one point there was the whole Destiny 3 thing, but it sounds like they realized they weren't ready. Yeah, and nobody wants to see a new game where the vanilla once again, like, isn't what it could be. So, I mean, it sounds like they're trying to take the necessary steps to make sure that, at the end of the day, everything ends up, it's going to be good. So,
completely agree, man.
Yeah, man.
Agree.
But yes. It's been dope, man. I just want to say thank you again, y'all. It's been a real, and thank you to everybody that's been that's watched and supported me, and just in general. Just want to say I love everybody so much, and this community is very very beautiful, and that's what really Destiny is. Like at the end of the day, it's like it's not always the game. People are like, why? They said exactly why. I said, why are you still playing that? Why are you still talking about it? It's because of the people, and it's because of the community. Like it's all beautiful, and there's nothing like that. I feel like that can't be accomplished. There's nothing that replicates that. So that's what's really special about Destiny, and that's why I feel like we're not going anywhere. So
talk shit.
But yeah,
I'm with you, bro.
But last thing too, I want to ask you, Cognito, too, since you've been in this is the last question now, because I don't want to hold you guys up too much.
No, since we're
in the same field too, like, and since you've been in the field a lot longer than me, what's your favorite part about working in IT? Take it away from Destiny for one question, since we're both in IT.
IT in general?
Yeah, IT in general, since we're both there. And I've been in it for now 2 years since March. Yeah.
I think for me, it's just like the whole science of how things work on the back end. And then on the client facing side, helping people and resolving someone's issue who is either stressed or going through a very, critical, P1 critical kind of a situation. And to kind of show them that they have the trust that we're going to resolve the issue, to help them do the process, and then to see kind of like you with your streams, right?
Yeah.
For example, when you do something for someone and you see them initially stressed, they don't see a way out, and then they get that resolution, and they're helpful, and they're so thankful that you were transparent through the whole process, and then got them to their end game. Yeah. That is one of the best parts of IT. You know what I'm saying? It's really cool. So that's where kind of Destiny kind of mirrors it.
Exactly. Yeah. No. 100%. Yeah. And I mean, whether we're helping with IT, or whether it's a homework problem, or whether it's Destiny, no matter what it is, just seeing that end result, and just seeing like people that weren't able to get something, whatever, inserted in, and be able to get whatever that said thing is. It's like helping people is like one of the it's a really cool part of this game and community. So it's dope. It's all dope. It's all dope.
It's about, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks for answering that, man. I'm 2 years in, so I'm going to keep on pushing.
Future's bright for you, brother. I got full confidence.
I appreciate it.
No doubt. We going to rock out, E?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, thank you all for coming. Sir, cbgray, Christian, the man with the fro, the Tinfoil Hat. All of the greatness in here.
We got it all, too.
Sorry we had to mess up your hair, but damn, that was worth it.
I'll put it on one more time.
Oh, there we go. We got to go out in style properly. So much crinkles.
The funny thing is now it doesn't fit in the back.
It doesn't fit. Yo, the side profile is hilarious.
There's so much hair. So much hair. Oh, that's amazing.
It's too much hair. It doesn't fit.
Tinfoil emojis. Shout out to Melvin. Shout out to Yo,
awesome.
Vegeta. They all put the Tinfoil emojis for you right now.
That is beautiful. So yeah, your community is amazing, and honestly, so is the Destiny community. So thank you for bringing your community, sharing them with us, and thank you for joining us for an evening chat by the campfire, sir. It was amazing to have you here, and honestly, can't thank you enough. So make sure you tell everybody who's listening, be it audio, video, because we're gonna post this everywhere, where they can find you, what they're gonna see when they come find you. What's the best place to get a hold of you?
Perfect. So the
Social security
best place
number,
to
single
watch.
stat. No, I'm just kidding.
So the best place to watch us is we are on YouTube at cbgray, cbgray. That's the name of our YouTube channel. We make helpful videos, or sometimes I want to make some funny videos, but mainly helpful videos with exotic weapons or anything else that might require, certain guides. And then we also daily stream on YouTube, usually 6 to 7 days a week. And then after we're done with our YouTube streams, we stream over on Twitch once we're done at twitch.tv/cbgray. And yeah, we like to have fun and laugh at me falling off cliffs and aiming really poorly. I'm a potato player, so it's always all in good fun, and we just like having a good time. So I'd love to share some more memories, and if you ever need any help, we always are here for you. So that's where you'll find me. And I look forward to seeing y'all. You guys are all beautiful, and I appreciate the time. I really do. And thank you guys for having me on the podcast. It's really it's really fun talking about Destiny. So it's a blast, especially with the tinfoil hat on.
A pleasure having you, brother.
All right.
Absolute blast, man.
But yeah.
Cognito, if you want to wrap up, let them know if you got anything this weekend, and we will finalize this sucker.
Yeah, man. You already know, at Lord Cognito on Twitter. And again, salute to CB for coming through, man. This is an awesome show. He actually threw the interview back on us. I like that.
I know.
That was cool.
I told you that I tried to tell them before. I said I can talk. They said, I say, you got anywhere to go? I said, no. I was like, I can talk.
We talking for a while.
We share that, bro. We loved it. All of us love to talk. But yeah, at Lord Cognito on Twitter, you know what I'm saying, on our Iron Lord podcast on YouTube. Every Sunday is the Lord's Day, 1 p.m. Eastern. And we also now starting to stream to Twitch. So all the Twitch guys here, man, if you follow Iron Lord podcast, we will be simultaneously streaming and on Mixer as well. So check us out. So this week we will have some gaming royalty. We'll have Hip Hop Gamer and Red Infamy. They will be on. We'll be talking about everything that went down with the Xbox Series X reveal, or what didn't go down gameplay-wise. I know. And then we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the latest rumors with PlayStation 5 and just general console talk, And so, again, really appreciate the support. And last but not least, please, the support for our website, lordsofgaming.net. You guys have been tremendous, and trying to push towards gaming media. It really helps us. So thank you for all support. And again, you already know. He hates when I say it, but you already know the best damn Destiny podcast no one's never heard of. The last word. And I'll promote it on Iron Lord podcast too, man. So you be proud, brother. You be proud. But I really love this show, man. To see the support in the chat. Shout out to CB Gray's community for pulling up, showing love, man. That's what it's about. It's about positivity, inclusiveness. Yeah, exactly, brother. And having fun. We all love this game. We love this community.
Bad at that.
And it's good to see. It's good to see, man. That's what I got, man.
I was like, for me, Ebontis, if you find the cheetah, it's EBONTIS, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all the places. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys very much. Again, CB, it's been awesome. So we will wrap this thing up. You guys remember, for the recordings, we'll keep this thing going. And when we finish this thing, all you guys who are in the stream right now, I want to send you guys over to Brian Monkus Art. He is streaming right now, working on his art. If you guys have seen him on Twitter, he does some of the coolest Destiny art that you probably have seen. He's streaming right now, so we're going to go raid his channel. So I want you guys to take all these tinfoil hat love.
Take some tinfoils.
Take some tinfoils and go put them in Marcus's chat. Yeah, go in. Yeah, go in unicorn style.
All right.
So for this episode, it has been episode 102. Thank you, CB, for joining us. May 8th, the calendar will open up potentially next week. So thank you guys very much. You guys have been awesome. So have a great one.
I want to say thank you for accommodating to the late time too. I know I work during the day, so thank you guys for making the accommodation.
You are totally fine. It lets him sleep, so it's totally fine. So thank you guys very much. And for this episode, it has been the last word.
Yeah.